What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is DH Thorne here, coming at you with my good friend, the Flesh Priest, live and in blue. What's up, Flesh Priest? How are you?
I am good, and I just got off that train that you all heard.
Soul
Just
Train, Soul
that,
Train.
that's the reason why we're a little bit late. The train was running behind. I just jumped off and right onto this stream for you all.
Fuck yeah. We appreciate you coming on, brother, especially after we missed you last time.
Yeah, I know, dude. I miss a week, and it feels like it's been a month.
Yeah, a week's a
Like,
long time. Plus, it's been, it's been like somebody took a gigantic shit in here, and we really got to open the windows. I mean, that spiritually speaking,
yeah.
emotionally, spiritually speaking. So it's like, fuck that shit, man. We got to do all the cleansings, it's time for all the fucking sanctuaries, all that shit's got to be done tonight. And, it seems like the first order of business should be talking about the Shadowgate project and talk about how successful that apparently was. If we were going to look back at the last couple of months since that was performed by the secret alumni of that project, we'll say. Some of them are actually here. So for those of you who participated in that Shadowgate project, I think it's undeniable that it worked. I think everybody, it's not just brought tragedy and mayhem and chaos, but I think a lot of people have had to face some of their worst problems, fears, and really a hidden part of human collective consciousness, a hidden part of our culture has kind of burst forth like a chest bursting alien into our midst, into our world. And, as of today, I kind of hit that, good, it's fucking done. It's fucking done. I feel like the first stages of that process are done. The worst is still yet to come, but I feel like, all right, it's okay right now. It's okay right
Yeah, fuck you very much for that because yeah, I'm also having that same feeling, but I've just been the fucking shadows of the personal life and everything of
now.
just why did I put all the what the fuck was with those stickers? Why did I even help?
I don't know, man, because I wouldn't see it all like that. I mean, the stuff that happens, it's people have to understand shadow work is not, it's easy to kind of default to saying shadow stuff is always negative. Shadow stuff can be positive too. Sometimes it has a positive, why we do things for positive reasons. It's not always a negative. It's usually going to feel like it, but it's not always a negative. Sometimes it's a positive thing we learn about ourselves. Sometimes we learn why we do something nice for people, and that's a shadow too. But we don't talk about that much because it's not as cool, it's not as edgy, it doesn't sell as many books. But in all brutal honesty, there is that side of it too. But since the working was actually done by a group of people who I trust to do it, and that was done on October 31st. So, a few days before the great happening of November and the subsequent limbo that we've been in, and then, everything else going on in the world. So it's been quite wild, but it is what it is. I hope everybody's okay. I hope you're all doing okay. But we can confirm, I mentioned it the other day, we have confirmed that it is a done deal and it is working. It's not, I was hesitant to say anything for a little bit because I don't like taking credit for world events, because world events happen. Shit happens, right? That's part, shit happens, Rama Rama Ding Dong. It's like part of the world. But
was that Confucius you just quoted?
I think it was. It was, no, not Confucius, Confusions. It was Confusions. Yeah. So, but it does happen like that. So hopefully you all are getting the picture. And Quetting just made a perfect comment. The negative and positive is just a value assessment that we're making that doesn't really rely on facts, but more on emotions. So it's your heart chakra going, I love this, I hate this. That's what this is. And your shadow has a lot to do with that too. Yeah, absolutely. What's up, Eric? It is great to see you in the chit chat. You were on last week and we appreciate you, man. So we were supposed to have a special guest tonight. He may still show up at some point. He had a family emergency last minute. So if he does at some point show up, hopefully I'll notice him, because the way my Discord works, I don't see messages while I'm streaming very well. So if he does pop in or message me, hopefully he will let me know. I'm going to message him now. If you do show up, message my partner, as he tends to be more on the ball than me.
Oh, I'm used to the fucking multitasking on this side.
Yeah.
You know what? It's
To be
much
fair, I'm
better.
multitasking too. I do have like 4 screens of stuff going, but yeah.
Yeah, fair. And in my case, it's much better now that I don't have to do that dumb fucking audio workaround with that extra
Sure.
program. Because for a while, it was like I was piloting the Nebuchadnezzar, just staring at the Matrix on 5 different windows.
I've wanted to see The Matrix lately a lot. I really have, especially after everything's
Oh,
going on.
I love those movies. The second and third one are great too. Fucking fight me if you disagree.
So I'm seeing in the comments, some people are agreeing with me. Something about today, and this is why I put a comment in Discord. It's like the elite turned off the 5G doom and gloom ray, because it seems like, and I'm not alone in this, a lot of people, even if it sucks, people are kind of in, not everybody obviously, but a lot of people are in like an acceptance mode today. A lot of people are like, oh well, we're fucked. Let's enjoy it. Let's have some night. Let's get some steak dinner. Let's wallow. Let's buy some stuff. Let's do some stuff. I noticed a lot of kind of turnaround going on here. I haven't seen Dice Controller yet, Blade and Cloak, but hopefully he shows up. I like Dice Controller.
I've been noticing he tends to not be here at the very beginning, but he sneaks in by the end invariably. And yeah, I'm glad that JD is back doing stuff now, so that we can hear that Dice Controller 187.
And I just got this, like I just got it today. I went to the stinky New Age occult store today, and I bought this
Gross.
this incense burner, which I actually like the shit out of this. You put in either cones or sticks, and it's got little holes at the top, and it really diffuses it well, and it probably helps it burn a little slower too.
My man all bougie over there. I've just got this fucking
Dude,
stick.
that is still bougie compared to what a lot of people have. A lot of people just have like a ghetto freaking little, like, look. This was an example of like my first incense holder, man. I just stuck it right in there. Jennifer Vatsa, what's up, sister? Love you, bro. We may be opposites in bizarro worlds sometimes. Be well and mind those damn shadows already. They are lonely and need some hugs. Yes, indeed. I know. Don't blame us all for what you think. I will try not to blame all of you, because you guys are human too. When all is said and done, we're all going to go, fuck, this sucks. And we're all going to be hanging out in the same fucking FEMA camp gulag. And we're all going to be playing checkers and chess together. It's going to suck, but it's going to suck in a very left-hand path kind of way. Appreciate you, sister. Nina's here. Nina's a great person. If you guys don't know, Nina's always been very, very helpful. She's got a good little channel. She does weekly little readings and conversations and stuff, and she's always a great help. Check her out if you can. And T. Camille is here somewhere. I think she's working in the shop. She said she might call in later. But she's actually working in the shop. She's making mirrors for you guys. So we will have, within a week or so at the most, we will have a whole new batch of mirrors, including some. She says, I'm a capybara. Oh, my goodness. T. Camilla will have a whole new batch of mirrors. She's making some that are only, I'm going to say like a viewing area, like maybe 4 inches or so across. So for a much more reasonable price than what we usually charge. So it'll still be a little bit much because they're all handmade and special, but yes, absolutely. So
a lot of love goes into them.
Yeah. And Jennifer Botsa says, Yepson, I love you too, my dear. And we know everybody loves Flesh Priest. Who doesn't love Give me a fuck you Flesh Priest if anybody hates Flesh Priest. I really doubt that that's going to burn up any bit bandwidth here.
And since we're shouting out people who are in here, I actually got a buddy of mine who is not exactly into the occult, but he decided to tune in tonight. So shout out to Arya in the chat.
Cool. Who's this person? Arya. Let's everybody shine a spotlight. Shine a spotlight on this person.
Everybody bring out your strangest stories to scare the newcomer.
Are we going to talk about penis soon, or are we going to wait till the second hour?
Oh no, that's probably going to come in later. Let me rephrase
Fuck
that.
You, fleshy. You know what? We're going to call you Flesh Pants tonight. Tonight it's going to be Flesh Pants instead of
Flesh Pants.
Flesh Pants, yeah. That reminds me of like my absolute favorite picture from the Black Adder series. If you guys know who the Black Adder is, or the series, if you haven't watched it, in fact, I insist one of these nights when you need an upper, dude, we're gonna fucking Maybe we should do this actually for one of our hangout nights. We should watch a couple episodes of Blackadder. So
I'm down.
Like one of the final seasons of Blackadder, they show his future self way in the future, and it's a fucking picture of. I'll have to share it in Discord sometime. It's them in the future, and freaking Blackadder's standing there looking all corny, and his little friend is with him. It's fucking great. I'll have to find the picture. Okay, that's a reference nobody's gonna get. Yeah, what's up? Ace the Goblin, what's up, brother? Let's get him on tonight if he wants.
Oh, yes.
We'll have him call in.
Yeah, because we've been wanting to get him on, and shit has been so crazy in my life, and then just fucking holidays and all the bullshit. We need to get you on, Ace.
Nah, dude, I respect the living ass fuck. Well, okay, that's gonna sound gay. I respect the living fuck out of this dude for the music that he does by himself, solo projects. Actually, I liked his stuff so much, I am giving him permission to use a couple of my songs that I made. I'm pretty much blanket permission. Just give me credit, and if you ever hit it big, make sure you throw a few pennies my way. You know, give me a percentage. This motherfucker does great work, and yeah, you can definitely come on tonight. Please tell me, Ace, that you're working on some of those songs that you said you wanted to work with, because I know it takes a little while to get inspired for what you're going to put on them, but I really can't wait to hear what you do with those tracks I gave you. I really can't fucking wait. Because some of those really, like, I think, you know, I always picture myself doing goth music and, like, you know, electronic music and stuff, but honestly, I think my music it really seems to work well with, like, underground rap, freestyle, shit like that. It really seems to be good on that. So
you find the goth in a place that you didn't expect it. It's like when I went from metal to fucking headbanging at the dubstep shows.
But I like dubstep.
Oh, and hey, real quick, we got a super chat from Scarlett Bales.
Fuck
Says,
yeah.
hello, stoked to hear more, but please pardon
God
me.
damn it, I hired you for this.
Stoked to hear more mirrors are coming. Been watching, so grab one up. Yay, Camilla, and hearts.
Oh, you
Fucking
hear that,
thank
Camilla? Are you
Scarlett.
listening? Oh, yeah, she said it won't be long before they are up. Thank you, Scarlett. And I saw, you know, that whole thing, like, you know, fuck, we gotta remember that at the end of the day, we're human beings, and it's gonna come down to, if we disagree, you still gotta jump in front of the bullshit, you know, because it's gonna get crazy, potentially. I keep telling you guys it's gonna get worse before it gets better. I'm not kidding. We're just going to get a little bit of a reprieve for a while. So just chill out. Everybody do what you can. Save your fucking money. Buy your toilet paper. Get your Bang Bang toys. Get yourself in a good place, because it's probably going to get worse again. I feel like we're going to go into the roller coasters, like we're done with that. And we're going to go into the bottom of it for a little bit now. So hopefully we're going to go more. We're going to go back up that hill again. So prepare your asses.
By lube.
How devoted are DH Thorne's chat room fans? I think it's awesome that there is a community that can support his work. Oh, thank you, Kyle. You know what? You know what happens? The way you make a good community, yeah, you need like a ringleader to start it, but then you know what you do? You make it so that those people enjoy just hanging out together. You give them ways for them to hang out and share, so that you're just another person hanging out with them. And then they'll just be like, you know what's really cool? DH Thorne's hangout's cool because, you know, we got like this room and that room and we do this and we do that. And Eddie made it. He didn't die. He said he was going to sleep, but he said he wasn't going to make it. Thank you, Eddie. What's up, Eddie?
Oh, shit.
Eddie made it.
Is here.
Eddie made it. What's up, Eddie? So, for real, like the best way to make a community is, I mean, you can make it about you at first, but it's really about making it about the community. It's really about saying, hey, you come into our Discord, so long as you abide by the basic rules of Discord, we don't got a problem with you. You know, come in, hang out, be respectful to everybody, be good to each other, and just hang out and participate. And then you'll find out it's cool. Like when you go to a bar, what makes a good bar? Is it the lighting? Is it the seats? Is it the bouncer? Maybe. You know, is it the dancers? You know, maybe. But what is it really? It's because the people who go there, you get to know them and you hang out, and then you want to go and hang out every night. That's what makes a cool place to be. So hopefully we can continue that. And I've been like kicking this idea around, especially with Eric, that at some point I really want to, as I build up, as I grow bigger, as I get more recognition, as we get more and more people in this community and in this Discord and in this stuff, eventually I want to try to put together enough I don't want to say capital. I want to say expertise and love to put together like a foundation type of thing, like a retreat, a thing that people can go to and fucking like a physical place that we can have as a center for left-hand enlightenment. Not just satanic, not just Luciferian, not just that. Left-hand enlightenment is a little bit different, a very our own thing, right? And then
we want to make our own Sedona that isn't filled with hippies.
I really just want to start my own cult again. That's what I really want to do. I really just want to do that. Let's just be honest. No, but for real, like, I mean, I want to do that. I want to have it so that it's like people can go and have a place that they can say, this is a place where I could go. And it's an open place, and it's not expensive, and it's not it's a place that everybody, like a church, basically. Let's call it a church, but it's not. A place where people can go and share these kinds of things in person, too. Maybe that's 5 years down the road. Maybe that's 10 years down the road. Maybe it's 3 years down the road. Who the fuck knows? I know that there's a hunger in the left-hand path. We'll call it a community, even though it's kind of like a stupid word. There's a hunger for something like that. People are starving for being able to meet and to be free in person. I really think that would be great. So I see we got a super.
Yeah, that is from GR, who says, sometimes you just got to surf the reality wave.
Yeah, and you can only fight it so long.
Yeah, and I think in terms of magic, it really works. I think magic can work a lot more the way you want it to when you're not necessarily trying to... You're going to have better results if you're not trying to push completely against the stream. You see where the stream is going, and if your magic is really powerful, maybe you can break that current, but tends to be a little bit easier just to flow, not with the current, but run alongside it.
I like that. Anton says we can be a cult of one individually together. I love that. It's a great way to put it. That is a great way to put it. That's how I see it. Everyone should be their own superhero, their own character. And we come together like super friends or some other lame thing, and we have like a cool, meanwhile at the bottom of the ocean, and we all just kind of do that. For those who get that reference, give me another thumbs up. I bet you a couple.
Meanwhile in the Hall of Darkness.
Yeah. No, but you got to say it like that lame. And meanwhile in the Hall of Darkness. If you haven't watched Super Friends growing up, you've missed out.
Oh no! Another dastardly do-gooder is here to vanquish our black-clad heroes. How will they survive? Tune in next week.
Yeah, I think one of the names I come up with a long time ago was the Black Grail of Lucifer, but that just sounds like such a try-hard, edgy thing. Maybe we should just think of a much more catchy single-word kind of name, or just a Tridium or something. We'll call it something weird.
It either needs to be something with just 8 letters, because I had a theory of when I was super into metal bands, all the best metal bands had 2 syllables and 8 letters.
That's why Metallica sucks. Oh shit, duck!
Oh, Metallica.
I was always more of a Slayer guy. At least, you know what it is? Slayer didn't put out as many good albums, in my opinion. Don't hit me. But the one album that I love better than almost any other metal I've ever heard in my life, and that's South of Heaven. That's my favorite album. I know everybody else is like, what are you talking about? It should be Seasons. No, South of Heaven is my favorite one.
Jen says you could name it the Flesh Temple of Fleshiness.
Oh, fuck a doodle do.
No, that's just the back room.
We will definitely have one of those rooms. I don't see why we couldn't.
Yeah.
It'll be a little smelly and weird, but you might.
Yeah, we played Conan. We know how it goes.
Word. We could do that again. We should. That's something I'd like to do, especially now that I'm getting into Fallout 76 so hard. It would be fun to put up a collection and have everybody throw in, and we get servers for the Discord channel for people who want to play certain games together and not have to fucking worry. Because the Conan one's not too bad. That's for a small server of 10 people, it's only 10, 12, $14 a month. That's not bad. So.
No. And super chat from Lucas Vose with that wonderful 666 says, I think that's a great idea. A place where we can learn and teach each other and go to live freely amongst each other is something we could use.
You know what I like to use as inspiration? Sadhguru, the murderer. Sadhguru and his Isa Foundation. I honestly believe That's a beautiful thing that they've created. I don't know if it is for real, but the optics from outside is beautiful. I love the idea. I would love to put together something like that and be one of the people that puts it together. Make it a group effort with a couple of people that have the exact same, preferably, vision. I don't want to be fighting over, like, the basic vision of it. And make it so that, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a place everyone could live, because communes, you know what the problem with communes are? You gotta, like, they don't always, they don't often work, and they're hard to start. They're really hard to start. I'd rather start with either renting or buying, probably renting, like a timeshare or something somewhere, someplace in the wilderness, and every couple times a year do a retreat, and people come, and it's like a seasonal thing, maybe once a season, start it that way. 10 people, 20 people, maybe something like that. Make it affordable, so long as it pays for the costs of everything, and set something up like that. I think that would be fun.
And Eddie mentioned, got to make sure to get the easy to launder robes too. That's a necessity.
Make your own, motherfucker. That's what I do. No, not just easy to launder, but easy to take off. Oh yeah. Age of Conan was decent for a minute, Eddie. We were playing Conan Exiles. Is that the name of it? Conan Exiles? Yeah, Conan Exiles.
Yeah.
I love Conan Exiles, but the only thing I don't like about it is that there's like next to no story to get involved in. It's literally just like, don't get me wrong, I like sandbox games where you make your own stories, but I also like to have side quests and shit to do to kind of like, I don't know what to do for myself. Oh, I know, I'll go through this little story where you gotta like go find the king and kill him or something. To me, that would be like a great addition to the game. Maybe they added it in an update. I don't think so though. But Fallout did, and I'm loving. I swore off Fallout 76 because of all the bad reviews, and everybody's saying that they fixed it. I think they fixed it even better than No Man's Sky. As much as I like No Man's Sky now, I think Fallout 76 is just a better starting point than No Man's Sky was. So I think they fixed it enough. I'm actually really enjoying it right now. Game of Thorns. Oh my goodness, you guys. I am not a pervert. Everybody else here is like a pervert. I'm like just
the only other person here is me.
Like, I say that I'm asexual just because I'm nowhere near pervert level that you guys are. So to me, it's like, I'm not addicted to it or anything.
I don't know. I've heard some pretty raunchy stuff in the private conversations.
Well, a lot of that's because of the T. Camilla person that just fucking likes to brag me up. I don't know why. Like, I'm pretty much just like, I'm just there.
Yeah, once Camilla gets in there, all bets are off.
Well, she doesn't get in there because I ain't that kind of guy, but she's probably probably turning all shades in there right now. 50 Shades of Thorne. Come on, guys. Let's not make this such a pyramid scheme. I mean, I love it.
You don't let your wife milk your prostate? What's wrong with you?
Why does it have to be milked?
You know what? Let's just transition off that. I'm gonna push that. Like,
we were gonna be talking about some of the highest-minded stuff tonight, and we are just. Where's your friend? Tell your friend this is exactly what to expect. This is how it always is.
Oh, he knows. He's known me since 2006. So yeah, he. This is how it normally goes with me.
The Upper Room. We actually have a church near me called the Upper Room. Actually, we do. Oh man, that place is a fucking wow.
Occult Snippets came in at the weird part.
Right? This is like, all right, this is like when you're using YouTube, and if you ever go to like the well, we'll just say like, the booty dance videos or whatever, and it's like, how did I get here? Like, that's all the comments. How did I end up here? Who else this is the weird end of YouTube again. How did I get here? What's this all about? The comments are the best part. Like, fuck the video. I like reading the comments. They're always funny.
So we did have a couple. God damn it! I'm trying to veer us onto magical talk and chat. I keep reading chat. That's an issue right now. We did have a couple things that we kind of wanted to talk about. You mentioned something earlier that I am not familiar. Breakovian brains.
Oh, Boltzmann brains. Yeah.
Boltzmann brain. What is that? Because I feel like that's a term I've heard before, but it's completely not ringing any bells.
Yeah. So
Like a
this
late
is kind of
Quasimodo.
a really big topic. This is like something like I should be. You know what? Let me see if I can hit record, because this is something that should be its own video. I bet you this won't work. Let me try. All right, we'll see. All right, it's recording at the same time, so I can potentially edit this. In the beginning, there was what we call the Big Bang, right? That's what scientists agree. That's the term they use for their current theory, their metaphysics, if you will, of the origin of the universe, is an idea that they call the Big Bang. Now, most of you are familiar with the Big Bang. I'm not going to run through the whole fucking thing. But the idea is that once upon a time, all of the universe, not just all the stuff, but in fact all of the space, was compacted into a much smaller dimension. That point A and point B were much closer together than they are now. And all of the stuff that occupied the spaces from point A to point B were similarly compacted into a much smaller space. We'll call it a singularity because we don't have a better word for it. Now, in my metaphysic, which shares some ideas with panpsychism, though I wouldn't actually say it's the same. I'm a non-dualist. If I was going to say a metaphysical religion that I adhere to, I'd say I don't have one. But I'd say if there was one I was going to, I would say Advaita Vedanta and Neoplatonism are the most like what I think is true. The most like. They're the most like what I know to be true from experience in all of these things.
For the people that didn't do the reading, can you give like a 2-sentence summary of what those are?
So Advaita Vedanta literally means non-dualism. It's the idea that there is not two. Non-duality. There is no two. There is only one. There is only a great omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent singularity of this. And this is what you are. And it is conscious because you are conscious. And all is conscious because everything is consciousness. And consciousness is a dream. The dream of reality is Maya. It is synonymous with the word magic. It is literally a waking dream. Everything that you experience is through the lens of a little tiny insignificant dent in this great mirror of reality that reflects all the other little parts of the mirror. It's a very poetic way to say, you and I are one. Not in this hippy-dippy love and light kind of way, but in a very real metaphysical way. Now, this does not conflict in the slightest with scientific theory about what is. If we go back, if we rewind the clock, which is time is an illusion too, but if we allow the illusion of time to be real for 5 minutes and have this conversation about it, if we rewind the clock of time all the way back to the supposed beginning, we find that all matter and energy condenses down into a point that is likely infinitely small. Like the heart of a black hole, to the point where some have theorized that our universe is actually the inside of a black hole in another universe. In other words, just like in our universe, when a star collapses in on itself and creates a black hole, it crushes down into an infinitely small point. And at some point, conceptually, you can imagine that that almost flips inside out and creates a negative space bubble. What might be called counter space, even. Creates a negative space bubble, like the other side from we might say from Stranger Things, like the other side. What's the word for it? They call it there's a word that they use.
Oh man, I have never seen it. I wouldn't know.
Oh, you owe yourself to at least watch the first couple seasons. It's good shit.
Everybody keeps telling me that. It makes me want to watch it less.
I'm gonna kick you. But then again, you have to like the 80s a little bit. It doesn't hurt. But no, it's good shit. You'd like it though. It'll remind you of like
down.
The Upside Down. It'll remind you of like Secret World a little bit. It's good shit. All right, so definitely reminds you of Control. You'll probably feel a little bit of Control coming through it too.
Okay, now you sold me.
It's like a mixture of like Secret World and Control. Like it's got a little bit of those two kinds of feels, but much more local.
I can only get so erect.
All right, so So when we go back, we rewind this imaginary clock all the way back to the beginning. We see a point when all matter and all energy and everything that we perceive would have been compacted down to a point that is so infinitely small that we can't define it, most likely. The different theories will say it gets to the small of like a grain of sand, a pea, infinitely small. No one's quite sure. But we call it a singularity. Because you also have to understand that if all time and space is brought to a point, right? Or if you think about all of the universe, the entirety of infinite universe at the same time, that's kind of like a single thing. So it's a point, right? It's a mental abstraction. It's hard to get there if you're not used to thinking this way, but it's kind of easy if you are. There's nothing outside of what is. There's only more what is. So since there's no outside, everything is inside. So that means there's only one thing in a way. That's one way to think of it. Anyway, time and space and matter is so incredibly condensed. Now, consciousness is not a product of biology. I'm convinced of this. Consciousness is not a thing that biology produces. Your brain doesn't generate consciousness. There's a lot of different reasons why this is a rational concept, and science still cannot explain consciousness itself. It has no concept that can even remotely begin to explain the experience of consciousness. Explaining consciousness would be whenever we have these funky conversations where I ask you, what does the color blue look like? There is no definition for the color blue that satisfies what it looks like. We can say it is this wavelength. We can say it's this part of the spectrum. We can say the sky is that color, but you cannot define the color blue in a way which defines the appearance of blue. The physical characteristics of blue we can define, but the internal conscious reflection of that color, what it looks like to you, is a product only of consciousness. It is the experiencer experiencing it. That consciousness cannot be found in the brain. There is no clear, hey, this part of the brain does that. Hey, this wavelength, when the brain reaches this frequency, suddenly there's consciousness there. Now they can say the brain is experiencing that there's consciousness like as part of the process. They can say when these parts of the brain work, we have a conscious mind. And when we cut these parts out, it doesn't. But those parts individually or even together necessarily don't generate consciousness, because you could cut different parts of them out and consciousness will still work so long as you've got certain ones still there. There's no one source for it. There's no one. You can't even say the whole brain does it, because there's cases where people literally, I think Flesh Priest, I had you look this up once. There's cases where people literally have almost all of their brain gone. They're born in such a way. Maybe they have like really strong encephalitis or something. They get swelling in their brain when they're an infant. Nobody catches it. And the brain is just hollow. Like there's like next to nothing. And they're like PhDs. People don't understand how this is possible. Is it just neuroplasticity? Well, that could be. But consciousness doesn't seem to be linked to any single or even collective piece of the brain. It's almost as if the brain is more like a transmitter-receiver.
Yeah.
More like a computer. More like a radio. Like an RC car. Think of yourself like an RC car. So long as you're receiving signals, the RC car can do things. You can smash the RC car, but the signal is still there. So your consciousness, maybe the totality will say, not just of your consciousness, but the totality of your experience of this could be, if we're being materialistic, this is the panpsychist principles. It could be that consciousness is tuned in by the biology. And consciousness coalesces, maybe focuses on this, because this has all of the apparatus that it really likes to deal with. It really likes to focus on this. And so we have the experience of being a human. And if you're a cat, it's the same consciousness, the exact same consciousness that you are, but it's having the experience of being a cat. And people always say, well, Thorne, how come I don't know what it's like to be you right now? Well, I'd point out, you don't know what everything in your body's doing right now, but you wouldn't argue that you're not those parts, right? Can you tell me exactly what your colon's doing right now if you haven't had a chili burrito? Some of you might. Chances are no. Chances are no. Most of your internal body parts function in a way that if they're working right, you don't feel them. You have no awareness of them. But you wouldn't hesitate to say, hey, that's me. You wouldn't hesitate for a moment to say that's you. In fact, you would say, well, that's not just me, because if I started chopping you up and chopping you into smaller and smaller pieces up to your head, you'd probably get to the point where you're like, well, I must be in my head. But again, remember what I said to you before. I can remove pieces of your brain and you're still there. And there's no telling exactly, sure, we know if I destroy some of it. Well, David Morgan's trying to be cute, but I know him. I know he's being cute in a good way. Then there's the matter of solipsism. The problem with solipsism and why we're not being solipsistic is because I don't deny your existence. I don't pretend that you aren't there. Rather, I believe you and I are the same thing. Non-dualism, if you look it up and say, is non-dualism a form of solipsism? No, it is not. Because it doesn't make the claim that you and I, like only one of us is real. The solipsism is the idea that only you exist, only the you that is identified as you exist, and everything else is fake. It's literally just a delusion in a bad way, right? What non-dualism is saying, we're all real, but we're all the same thing, and what we experience is a delusion. So it's not saying that we don't exist. It's not saying that Flesh Priest doesn't exist. It's not saying that my dog doesn't exist, and that you're just all figments of my imagination. Rather, you exist, but what I see is an illusion. The way I see you right now is not what you really look like. I see what I see. And you're only responsible for a small piece of that. You can't make me see the rest. So anyway, getting back to my point. The universe, in its very early state, at some point, as it's expanding in the early universe, first 300 million years or so, 500 million years. As it's expanding, there's a point where even light can't be transmitted because it's still so dense and it's so superheated that light literally can't transmit. If light is emitted, it doesn't travel. It's more like the way electricity works through matter right now. It would literally light would just be part of it. It wouldn't, there'd be not enough space between all of the matter for the light to create particles. Assuming quantum physics is right. We're not talking about a more ethereal idea like what Tesla believed in. Because he was not a materialist in that sense. He was not an atomist. They believed in atoms, but not in the subatomic quantum world. We won't go into that. That's like a whole nother can of worms. So, in this early universe, theoretically, in fact, certainly, especially if the universe is in fact infinite, if the universe truly is of infinite size and density, if it is truly endless, at least in the dimension of space and matter, that means all possible configurations that can exist do. And they don't just happen once, they happen an infinite number of times, with an infinite number of variation. So at some point in universal history, time and space were so compacted that as it expanded, eventually, or at least a certain amount of time, maybe 1,000,000 years, maybe 1,000 years, maybe 100,000 years, maybe a day, for however long, space and time was compacted enough, but open enough, that there could have been a pattern not unlike what is in our brain happening. I don't mean the meat. Fuck the meat. I'm talking about the signal itself, the neurological signals, the pattern of energy that is our mind. Somewhere
As
in
above,
that,
so below.
somewhere in the depths of that primordial soup, a mind might have woke up. And it would have been perhaps equal to our own, perhaps inferior to our own, perhaps way more substantial than our own. We're talking about a mind that might work on orders of magnitude where each neuron is a galaxy worth of mass, just sparking back and forth over a space the size of my fists, because so much is condensed together. Such a universe, such a point in the universe, the speed of thought would be astronomical. In our current iteration as human beings, our brains are somewhere on the order of like 200 cycles a second. Somewhere in that range, okay? Give or take. So that means our concept of time is perfectly synchronized to that. In other words, your idea of 1 second has a lot to do with how fast your brain refreshes the cycles. If you had a quicker brain, time would feel different. If you had a slower brain, time would feel different. So if your brain did, say, 1 cycle a second, then 1,000,000 years would maybe feel like 200th of that. But 100 years, would feel like 200th of a year. You could easily imagine a being that has a timelessness to it. But if everything's quicker, if everything's closer together, you could have a brain that processes, perhaps, if the cycles are faster because it's just smaller, all the space is smaller, the energy is zipping around quicker, and you have much more connection, it could happen in seconds. So this early brain that may have been formed, this is what is a version of what is called a Boltzmann brain. A Boltzmann brain is an idea put together by a gentleman called, I forget his first name, Boltzmann. The idea was he was trying to point out how silly it was for the universe to be infinite and have all this randomness in it, because he said, well, somewhere out in the depths of space, it's conceivable that all of the matter and energy needed to have a fully formed, perfectly functioning brain could happen in a big enough universe with enough stuff in it. It's kind of like the idea if you get a million monkeys typing away on keyboards and put them in a room for 100 years and let them go to town on those keyboards, eventually, the theory goes, you'll get Shakespeare out of somebody. Just as random noise, it'll happen. Just like people will say in the numbers of pi, if pi is an infinite number, somewhere in that number is an equation, a mathematical equation, a sequence of numbers that when put into the right calculator would spit out the universe, the whole universe. Because it's an infinite number. It's supposedly an infinite repeating number, non-repeating number. Watch the movie Pi. So in this idea then is the seed of understanding what you are. It's the first seed of understanding what the first concept of potentially a God would be. The God, if we want to play monotheism, pantheism. In the beginning, there was a singular mind, perhaps. Maybe there was more than that. But in the beginning, there might have been a singular mind consciousness element. Consciousness is not the same as mind, by the way. You've got to make sure you understand what you think of as a mind is not your consciousness. The mind is a thing the consciousness experiences. You are not your mind. The mind is what you are experiencing, and you pretend is you. That's not a hard leap if you really, really think about it. This is why meditation is useful. When you understand that you don't go away when your thoughts stop, when you do drop mind, empty mind meditation, this is why you don't go away. You're still there. In fact, you might even feel like you're more there. You're not your thoughts. You're not the pictures in your head. You're not the words that happen in your subvocal. You're none of that. Those are experiences you have. And even your perception is experiences that you have. And when you turn all of that off, you don't go away. The problem is, we think that we are what we remember us to be. In other words, if you lose your memory, chemically, have an accident, if you lose your memory, you go to sleep at night, you don't remember dreaming, but I guarantee you do. Almost everybody, pretty much everybody does dream, you just don't remember it. If the dream doesn't get put into your memory, your active memory, you feel like you didn't experience it, but you did. In fact, just because you don't actively remember it doesn't mean that it doesn't actually influence you. There's a lot of things that you don't actively remember that are an active part of your everyday life. You don't remember when you learn to walk. You don't remember that lesson, but you still do it. You don't remember the day you learned your ABCs, but you still do it. So just because you don't have the memory of being the universe doesn't mean that you're not currently living the experience of the universe. Now, let's take this to another level. So we imagine that this is possible. That there's a brain that forms at the beginning of the universe. There's a brain there. And this brain is made out of whatever the fuck it takes for it to be a brain. Maybe the very first brain, if we're going to call it that, this Boltzmann brain, maybe the first one was literally just electrical signals flowing through the medium of matter. In the early plasmatic form of the universe, before it formed really elements that we could understand, it was just energy plasma. Well, plasma is very electromagnetic. There's a lot of electricity and static and shit flying around there. There's a lot of so you could have had potentially a pattern form and last. A self-replicating pattern could have occurred that was a mind. Now what happens as that expands? If we go with the as above, so below principle, if we look at the fractal nature of the universe, as the universe expands, so too would that mind. Now it could be destroyed. It could be pulled to the limit and stretched apart and broken. It could remain together. Or if it's being pulled apart and broken, those pieces may split off and become their own lesser minds. They may become their own minds, their own consciousnesses, so to speak. It's all one consciousness, but their own identified selves could have formed, just like you did, out of the shit that is this universe, out of literally the turds of dinosaurs, you are born. You come together and you coalesce in this blob of meat that is, you call alive. This is your avatar that you walk around in. And once you were that dinosaur, and once you were a dog, and once you were this kind of flame, and once you were something else, you were all of these things, all of them at the same time. That's what you are. And I talk about this a lot on my channel. I go into this a lot because this is the most fundamental thing to understand how and why magic might work. If you can understand this non-dualistic, and this isn't even a very good metaphysical story. This is actually a stepping stone to the higher truth. This, what I'm telling you right now, is how you can take the step between this firm matter that you think you are to take the next step to understand that this is a dream. This is an experience that you're having. This stuff is real, but what you think it is the dream. It's stuff without a name. It's just stuff. You put a name on it, like in the book of Genesis when it says Adam and Eve were given the task of naming everything. The story of creation in the Bible, for example, is not a bad metaphor if you take it as a metaphor. If you rip it apart as allegory, and you line it up with the non-dualistic or any other of those metaphysical origins, and say you can fit a lot of things in there, and they still fit. At some point, the first mind would have to decide what things are. That's part of what a mind does. A mind is a deciding tool. The mind is a thing that separates one from the other and makes value decisions based on that. The mind is what says that's over there and this is over here. The mind is what says that's light and that's dark. The mind is what chooses those things. Anyway, So as this Boltzmann brain exists, that could have been whatever higher God you want to call. This is why I like everything that's an offshoot of Advaita Vedanta, because even though they have this dogmatic religion that attaches to it, Hinduism, you can remove all of the dogma and all of the mythology and instead look at each one of those pieces as something that is archetypally true about the nature of the universe. That there would be a dreamer and a dream, that there would be a protector and a destroyer, that there would be a this and a that. These different elements of cosmic metaphysical allegory are true. Now, let's take this to a different direction. Let's go smaller. And Eric and I brought this up. We talked this in a private conversation just recently. Because there's a group of beings that I work with, we'll say, in sort of vision experiences and experiments, which I can't talk about because they're kind of unproven. They're not something that's validated with anybody else. They may just be a mechanism of my own consciousness to create a story that turns into information. It may just be an inspiration for Gnosis. We'll put it that way. Don't worry about Yahweh. I want to interrupt for 1 second. People get mad at Yahweh, not because of Yahweh. People get mad at Yahweh because of what people did with that God.
His fan club sucks.
His fan club, totally. That's right. Or at least his followers are. I'm not saying Yahweh isn't a dick, potentially. These are archetypes. These are archetypal beings. They have qualities that are good and bad. They have qualities that you're going to like. And if you're a pagan, like a real pagan, and you study the gods of the Hellenistic stuff, you know that as cool as Zeus can be, he can also rape you. You know that each god can be a complete and utter prick. You don't sit there going, oh, these gods are so wonderful. They all fucking suck. And they're all wonderful. They're forces of nature. A hurricane is both awful, but it also regulates energy on Earth and brings, needed rains and things to the world. All of these forces of nature are... Hellspine saying, my bad, Yahweh. No, don't even say my bad. He knows. He knows. It knows. Whatever it is, it knows. And Yahweh has a lot of different analogs throughout human culture. Yahweh's just one analog. And what happened was humanity said, we need a God that can contain all gods to simplify this down, to make it easier to make a cult that takes over our territory. We need a God that kicks your God's ass. That way, when we come to town, you fear us. And then we take you over with it. And every culture does this. Almost. Not every culture. There's actually a few that don't. The heathens didn't do that so much. They might have done it a little, but from what we understand, the heathens would have treated Yahweh as just another God. Like, oh, you've got a God called Yahweh? That's cool. That's what the Romans did. That's what the Greeks did. They didn't look at the Jews and say, your God isn't real. It's only Zeus and them. No, they're like, oh, Yahweh? Tell us about Yahweh. That's cool. They certainly did that with the Egyptians. Greek and Egyptian gods, there's a lot of cross-pollination. They have a lot of gods that were syncretized and influenced each other because for a time, those two cultures were sort of mated, literally. So it's actually abnormal for humanity to... I'm not going to say abnormal, but it's less normal for humans to believe that their God is better than the other person's God in the way that we see in the West, the modern West, the Christian West. So it's the Christians, not the gods, that not the deities that they fuck around with, that are the problem. If you take the Christian Bible, and this is coming from someone who plays on the left-hand path, I think it's a valid left-hand path approach. Because the left-hand path is about fuck your taboos. If you're a Satanist that goes, and I had a guy yesterday, he's a real prick. He got all mad because I wasn't willing to fucking shit on all Christians and shit. I don't have a problem with Christian people or Christianity per se. It's what Christians do that bothers me. And not all of them, just some of them. Just like I don't blame all of somebody of a particular color or gender for what somebody does. I'm not going to blame everybody who believes in Yahweh for what other people who believe in Yahweh do. That's stupid. So I don't believe in taboos. Not in that way. The only taboos are ones you need to selectively choose based on what serves you. Not because something is moralistically better or worse, not because Yahweh's, disciples went around and burned witches at the stake. Everybody burns witches at the stake. Go look in any culture. If someone catches you being a evil witch, they're going to burn your ass. You think it's just Christians doing that? Go to Malaysia, go to Japan, go to anywhere where they might catch you doing dark magic. Your ass is getting burnt. Or chopped up, or whatever. You're fucked. It's not just the West just gets famous and popularized for it because they did it systematically throughout a culture. But they all do. I've got friends from a lot of cultures, and they will shit on each other's stuff that way too. So it's not just Christians. Trust me on that. Always different, but somewhat similar. Yeah, because it's an archetype. It's an archetypal truth of human behavior. So for example, in the Goetia, King Vine, one of my favorite. I love all the kings, pretty much, not equally, but I love them all a lot. The kings are cool. The kings are my favorite Goetic spirits to work with. And King Vine, one of his archetypal strengths that's listed in his description is he's a witch hunter. He's a witch smeller. He'll help you find the witch that's working against you. Interesting. Does that mean he's a bad guy? So people need to relax a little bit. You need to get over it a little bit. This is shadow work too. Get over it a little bit. So let's bring this down to where I was trying to go. Your body right now is made up of, Flesh Priest, do me a quick Google search. How many cells are in the human body?
On it.
So your body is made up of.
Hold on.
Your body is made. I'm being funky.
Your body is made up of approximately 30 trillion individual cells.
Holy shit! That's almost as much sperm as in my left testicle. All right. So 30 trillion cells. And each one of those cells, actually, within it has another nucleus. There's like two entities in one. It's a symbiotic being. There's a RNA and DNA nucleus. There's mitochondria, and there's the regular nucleus. So there's really two of you in each cell. Now, they're very simplistic little organisms. And once upon a time, each one of those cells was on its own. If you rewind the clock, there was only one cellular organism. It was a monocellular organism floating around. And for reasons that we don't understand how it happened, some people say that one cell ate another and didn't digest it, and they somehow just coexisted and they lived and they did better because of it. Others say they just happened to be within the same membrane wall somehow and they just kind of grew together. There's a million ways. One of them was that it split, but they didn't fully split. Somehow, one cell became two joined together, and then eventually more and more and more. It took actually, I don't know how long, I think like 1 billion years to go from single cell to multi-cell life. That's how long it took for that to happen, but it did happen. Now, each one of those little cells, it may not have a mind on a level that you can comprehend, but it does contain bits of information. It does have a teeny tiny little spark of mind because it's able to make decisions. I think Fleshy messaged me.
Oh, I did. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay. Yeah, I see we got some call-ins. I'll finish up this idea and we'll move on. Excuse me for burping. I drank some soda. Woohoo! There we go. Sorry, guys. That was really manly of me. I apologize. So all of these individual little cells in your body are within themselves a small amount of conscious intelligence. They are a mind unto themselves. They don't have a brain the way you would understand, but they do have an intelligence to them. They make decisions and they operate in a way that is alien as fuck to how you think, but they do think. And they are conscious. They are aware. They're alive. So your body is made up of 30 trillion minds. 30 million individual, if you're a scientist, conscious beings. If you're me, you think of this as all consciousness, even the air is conscious. We won't go there because that fucks people's heads up. They can't handle that. We'll keep it simple. We'll keep it down to this materialistic idea for a minute. So these cells are conscious. And I won't even get into the idea that the stuff that makes them like a cell is also conscious. All the little molecules inside are conscious. All the little subatomic particles would be conscious too. They might not have a mind. They might not have consciousness in the neurological sense, but they have consciousness they have an awareness to them. And he says they think like cells. They experience reality in a cellish way. Exactly. It's a very Alan Watts kind of statement. We all have an experience, and it's correct for us. So all of those cells together, you have abso-fucking-lutely no idea what they're experiencing on an individual level, do you? Ooh, is that somebody put in Sanskrit? I love you, Arachnos. Please translate that. I think I have an idea. Arachnos with the fucking Sanskrit. Love it. Each one of those cells is you, right? But you have no knowledge of what they know. And yet, somehow together, you cooperate. This is actually, I think, a ripoff indirectly of a Deepak Chopra lecture, if I remember correctly. Each one of those makes up what you are. Each one of those lives in its own little world and is actually only dimly aware of the couple of cells next to it, if aware at all. Some of them would be unaware, some would be aware, based on whatever sensory capability they have. So like your skin cells would only be aware of the 3 or 4 immediately that it's touching, right? If that. To them, it's like you and I hanging out, going fishing. Yeah, we're cool, right? Yeah, we're hanging out. Yeah, I'm only aware of you right now. You're only aware of me. And our awareness of each other is only what we rub up against with our senses. Now, each one of those little cells is in an organism, and that organism has tremendous influence over what it does, how it lives, the stimuluses that it experiences. So, for example, Flesh Priest and I are at that fishing hole, and we're on the fishing bank, and we're fishing. We don't think about it, but the trees produce the oxygen that's needed in the atmosphere for us to breathe, to exist. We're dependent upon those trees. Just like your cells, your skin cells would be dependent upon the blood flowing by. The little blades of grass provide cushioning for your bare feet. I never go barefoot, by the way. I'm always wearing boots or something. So that wouldn't be me, but you get the point. Maybe a germ lands on your skin, it's trying to eat your skin. That would be the bee that just stung Flesh Priest on his bare foot.
Ow.
Motherfucker. You eat the fish that we catch later. That's the same thing as that cell getting fed some random shit from your blood. It's a microcosm. It is a perfect, not perfect, but it is an as above, so below. So if that's true, let's pull back even further. Let's say, okay, your body is a community of life. It isn't just life, it is a community of life. 30 trillion life. That's only counting your cells. Flesh Priest, Google, how many total organisms are in your body besides your cells? In fact, there's actually more foreign organisms in your body and on your body than there probably are your cells. They're smaller, so you can count them that way.
I fucking autocorrect transferred that to organs. That's not what I wanted. In the human microbiome, I cannot get a number for how many, but 10,000 different species.
Yeah. Your gut alone, forget the idea that your gut has neurons that make another brain, and it actually is conscious of itself, and it influences you. It's another brain within your body. Never mind that your own brain has multiple brain consciousnesses within itself. The left and right hemispheres are actually like two separate people that become one. That'll fuck you up if you do research on that one. Never mind that. your body is also a host to a huge number of other things that are technically not of your DNA. They are you just as much as your DNA is, because without them, you would die. If your gut wasn't teeming with these other bacteria that are not your DNA, you would die. Very quickly, in fact. You'd starve within a few days. All right, so if all of that is true, and all of these organisms live within a system which they might even think, they don't even realize they're part of a collective. They probably think, if they have thought, that they're just a little cell living on their own, and they're just embedded in this environment, and they're just living away and doing what they do. Well, that's what you think. You're sitting there in your chair.
We just live on this planet. There's just a bunch of other people who share my ecosystem, my city, and everything, and we're all kept together by this Earth.
Yeah. Did you know that many ancient cultures, the further back you go, the more inclined they were to treat a city as a living thing, as a god, as a divinity itself?
I really like that perspective, actually.
If you go back, a lot of cities are named after gods in some way. They are either the home of a god, or they are a god themselves, or a city is named after a god. Athens, is named after Athena. The idea that these things had a life of their own. Look at all these human beings that live in a modern city. There's a certain number of rules that we all choose to follow, but there is a collective consciousness within that city that we are only dimly aware of. You can see it, like when I did telemarketing stuff, and I did, at a phone center. It wasn't just telemarketing, it was when I was working a customer service in a telecenter. You could quite literally gauge the feeling of the whole country after like an 8-hour day calling around doing your job. Why is everybody on this idea right now? And you can say, well, everybody's watching the same TV channels. Yes, but it's remarkable that it is still working that way. So everybody in a city, you will find these weird habits people will have. Why, if you work at a retail or a restaurant, you'll know that there's like this weird thing where you'll be sitting there and it'll be dead as fuck, and then all of a sudden everybody just decides to come in all at once. Like somebody rang a bell. What the fuck caused that? Why? Sure, it could be random, but it happens so much. Sometimes it even happens at basically the same time every day. When I was doing Christmas trees, we would notice we'd have different minutes or hours of the day that were rush hours. We couldn't explain why. We had a 4 o'clock, we had a 6 o'clock, we had a this and that. And these different times, some of them you could explain. Everybody gets out of work, then they come in. Okay, why 4 o'clock? Most people are still working. Was that just the school teachers? Well, school teachers usually work till 5. What the fuck? People just come in. They just have timings. There's times that people come in. And there's a lot of different reasons why that could happen and work that way, but it does happen that way. So I want you to think for a moment. You think, as I do, if you're a left-hand path person, you love the idea of individuality, right? The idea of individuality is great, but don't forget that that individuality will always exist within a greater whole, and that is also you. I don't mean in the sense that you have to join with it. Don't try to join with it. Recognize that you're not just this. You're that big overmind as well. You're the overmind that is your house, your town, your city, your country, your solar system, your galaxy, your universe is the overmind that you are. And for whatever reason, your attention is only in this little space. If you understand this, you can understand how magic could work. You may not like to, or you may not be able to be aware of what each one of your little cells is doing. But if one of your little cells does the right thing, it could set off a whole bunch of shit in your body that eventually you can become aware of. Look at what one little virus can do.
Look at one little cancer cell can do.
Look at one little cancer cell can do. It's a domino effect. Magic is like a domino effect. If we're going to be materialistic about it, which I'm not, but if that's all your brain can wrap around, if you can't understand the full dimension of non-duality, that's fine. Just play with the materialistic side of it. It's a domino effect. All right. I think I said enough. I could go on, but I think I just start. We love this conversation.
So we do have callers, but we did also get a question in the form of a super chat.
Okay.
From Ace the Goblin asks, "Have you ever worked with the devil?" I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation.
It's Ahriman and Angramanyu. Yeah, Angramanyu. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of Persian mythology.
So technically, no, not directly as such. There is the idea that those are just different names for some of the same spirits we work with, like Satan or whatever. There's different. It really depends on your interpretation of those things. But as them specifically know, in fact, in the last months, I've actually been. You can probably tell I've been shifting away from purely demonic, stuff to more overarching spiritual. I'm more open to, okay, I'm willing to work with Hellenistic gods now. I'm willing to work with this and that. I'm willing to expand a little bit. I've gotten, I think, everything I'm going to get from being, a one-trick pony and an edgy motherfucker just working with the dark side. If I really want to expand my abilities, I need to pull in everything. The idea is not to just, I'm not a fucking theistic Satanist. I really can't stand when people mistake me for one. I don't sit there. I'm not like part of some adversarial satanic. Oh, I'm adversarial as fuck, but I'm not part of that theistic adversarial system. I'm not sitting there going, let's worship the Dark Lord Satan and sell our souls. I'm not one of these morons. And unfortunately, that makes me lose money because a lot of those people buy a lot of books. And they hear me say this stuff like, oh, I thought you were cool. No, sorry. I guess I'm not.
Let me tell you, I've known him for a couple years, and if there's one thing I would not describe him as, it's cool.
Right? I'm very fucking boomerish. I'm an early Xer. I'm almost a millennial. I'm very boomerish though, apparently.
No. What's more important than fitting, the societal definition of cool is you are one of the coolest motherfuckers I know because you are cool to the beat of your own drum, and that's the coolest fucking thing in my opinion.
I'm gonna put one of those black beanies on. You're gonna give me some. Just like a funky beat, and I'm just be like, ooh. I really like this incense burner. It's really cool.
Right as you said that, I'm listening to music in the background, and fucking More Human Than Human by White Zombie came on.
Oh,
yeah. Give me some beats in the background.
Nice. I really like this
weird
incense.
Timing on this side.
Like, look at how long this burned for. This was 2 sticks burning together. How long have we been running for?
We are at the 72-minute mark.
So this, normally a stick of incense like this burns for like what? I'm going to say half
I had
hour?
mine last me 15, maybe 20 minutes.
Right?
These are
like,
long burning.
Well, I don't think it's just the sticks. I did this with another. I think it must do something with the airflow just right. And it's a horizontal burn, which I think burns slower. When you have vertical, I think it burns quicker. So it really burns like reasonably slow. Like that's really good, man. I like this. This is a good buy. It's like $15. This is worth it.
Yeah, that just looks awesome. I fucking want to pick one up. Ace
the Goblin nails it. Read it.
Hey, Ace, we got you lined up to call in. You don't got a super chat, man.
Yeah, stop it, dude. I appreciate it though.
Yeah, I appreciate the fuck out of you though.
I do, man. I appreciate this guy. I like this guy, man. There's something about him. I just do.
Yeah. So Ace says they are all the same. The devils and demons are gods, but they are different aspects and different essences.
Yep.
I know because I've worked with many of them.
Yep. I agree with you, brother. This is why I like this dude, because a lot of people talk, but he knows. Like you can tell he knows. Like the way he talks. Like I don't know. You need some recognition, brother. I just feel like you do. All right.
I also like him for that, but I also really like him for that thing that he can do with his tongue.
It's fast as fuck, isn't it? It flicks in and out like it's great. All right, let's go to my darling, beautiful, adoring, probably dirty as hell wife, who's working out in the shop right now. Hopefully she's ready. I took too long. She's probably like, I'm tired. But if she's up for it, let's bring her on.
I had that problem.
Let me. I don't know if she wants video, so I'm gonna leave her video off until she tells me to put it on.
Okay. Speaking of which, nope. Okay, she's summoning. Nope, she's here.
Hello.
Wifey!
Welcome, Camilla.
How's it going?
Who is that?
Yeah, who is that? We don't recognize her.
Do you want? Yes, we hear you good.
Yeah.
Do you want video, or do you
Good,
want
good.
to? You just want to be?
A little further on the camera this time.
Well, that's okay. Do you want video or no?
Sure.
All right, then you have to transmit video.
Oh, how do I do that? Oh, there it is.
Technical difficulty.
There she is. All
Here I
right,
am.
everybody, that's
Oh,
a full-bodied view of my wife.
Oh shit!
The elusive.
You'll only
Okay.
see it once.
I actually love this right now because I love getting a sneak peek into people's shops. So like,
Technically, that's my father-in-law's shop. That's her.
yeah, it's the shop where you're working. So I'm just kind of looking around. Like DeWalt chop saw. I'm gonna kind of judge everything in there and the ergonomics of it all.
Feel like Vanna White. Power tools, I love them.
Power tools, I love them. Power tools, I love them.
They're a lot
I
of
just
fun.
used that power saw back there before
Yes, you did.
because I am starting a new Etsy project actually. So I'm going to be making I don't know what you'd call them, honey. The plaques. I don't know what you'd call those. Would you call them plaques? I guess I'd say they're wards. I was going to make wards and sigil
Yeah.
plaques.
Yeah.
And the idea would be to set them up and put in there, like I'd make them, but I wouldn't do anything magically to them because I really believe you should do it yourself. Set them up, you purchase it, and you charge and activate them. I'd probably include the stuff you'd need to do it too. Then I want to make, I really like staves and rods. I really like rods and staves for doing magic. And I'm going to be producing probably 2 quality levels. One would be walking sticks that are not, they're just made out of like poplar dowels and then carved and have neat stuff, little sigils and stuff carved into them and stained and decorated. And then like stronger wood that you'd use for like a bow or like white wax for like a Chinese gun staff and stuff like that. Stuff that's more resilient, like stuff you could hit things with, right? Versus like a poplar dowel, which you could hit stuff with, but it's probably going to break pretty quickly.
Or
So
feel like walking along and a feral dog comes at you.
yeah, like the poplar would work for that. Like poplar would be fine if you're trying to like kick out a raccoon from your life. But it wouldn't be good if like someone says, "Hey, tally ho, ruffian, give me free ships." So what you working on there, Sweetums?
Well, I got mirrors I'm working on right now.
Oh, is that what those are? I thought those were like
Yeah.
like stencils for big pumpkins for the eyes.
This is actually the small one. These are going to be about 11 inches total from corner to corner. I usually measure it corner to middle of the side, but it's about 11 inches across. It's going to have like a 5-inch mirror inside it.
Okay. And those are going to get decorated and stuff with like, oh
yeah,
that's cool.
they're all going to get decorated. Some might be a little more on the plain side, but they're definitely going to get at least a little bit of stones, maybe some eyes. And I also have the bigger ones I'm working on, the normal size ones. Eventually, I do want to get the maybe 1 or 2 of the 2-foot ones up.
Are you doing those miter joints on the fucking chop saw behind you?
No.
What are you using for that?
So she uses the bandsaw and then she uses the belt sander like I showed her to get it.
Belt sander to fine tune the angle.
Okay, so I know you're gonna hate me for this right now.
Probably.
I was going to say if you're using that fucking chop saw, that sketches me out with that small one because I'm comfortable with I'm comfortable with a lot of machines. I could like fucking run 1 inch on a table saw without even like thinking about it. But chop saws make me nervous. But those look clean and I see no gaps and the angles look good. If you're doing that on a fucking bandsaw with a fucking sander, like gee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm vocational. I wouldn't even do that. I have fucking almost a decade under my belt. What the fuck?
See, honey, I taught you a good, really hard way. He probably knows a better way. Listen to him, ignore me. Well, how would you do it?
The chop saw I'm using to cut it in half so then I could get to the bandsaw easier with it.
Nah, if it was me, I would just cut the angle on the chop saw. The fact that you're able to get it that clean, though, it's like I don't see any gaps or anything.
I mean, there's a little one, but the glue fills it in pretty good, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of that, but I figured that was just the glue, some like fucking smudge out.
This one is a little bit ugly. That's as best as I could get it.
It's a little
but
uneven, yeah. That's
yeah,
okay.
I put eyes in the ones that I really, I wouldn't say mess up on, because it's not really a mess up, but the ones that aren't so clean, I kind of like put stones there to make it more solid, and to make sure nothing happens, it gets like a bracket on the back too.
And of course, you know, one of my favorite movies is adorning her chest right now. My favorite.
Fucking movie is that?
If you don't know, I'm making you watch it for the next movie night. Guys, let's do a movie night next week. In fact, when did we do the last one? Was it last weekend?
Yeah, last weekend.
How soon do you want to do another one?
Tomorrow?
You wanna maybe do a game night this weekend and do a movie night next weekend?
Either one, but my vote now goes from what it was going to be to Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, okay. Now that you say that, I could see it. Yeah, no, I just watched that movie a couple months ago.
I love Big Trouble in Little China. That is like, ugh. I wish I could have more than like, you know, 3 top 3 movies, because that would be in my top 3 too.
I don't want Chinese food.
Right? That's the thing. I can't have Chinese food.
I think it's the name Lo Pan makes me think of like lo mein.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, I fucking love that movie. I love everything about that movie. That is still a D&D campaign I would like to do, is set it in fucking Big Trouble in Little China. We'll use like the either the Cthulhu rules or something, and just do like a game night of that. That would be cool, actually. Run a game night with Cthulhu rules in the Big Trouble in Little China setting. That would be fun as hell.
I'd be down.
In the chat, whoever would be hanging out in our Discord. In fact, if you guys, I think I see mostly people that we know, but people who we don't know, or people who are new, if you're not familiar, check out on Flesh Priest's screen. He's got a little thing that says "Join our Discord." Let me move this this multicolored hair person out of the way a little bit.
Should be right up here somewhere, and it's Discord / or discord.gg/6EETR 2 capitalized E's. Sexy
Come
tree.
join the sexy tree.
Tree is just so sexy, yo.
And for some reason, I screwed up my screen size, and I can't get it back to where I want it. Wah. I can make it smaller, but not really bigger. Interesting. Okay, well, that's as big as it's going to get for now.
I had a nickel for every time I said that.
Oh my goodness, I fucked up again.
Speaking of the fucking movie nights, the last one was nice.
It was different. I knew that it wouldn't appeal to everybody.
No, it was just like, because to me, it was nice being able to watch that and crack a little jokes here and there. It's one thing to fucking give everybody a homework assignment of like, go watch this movie and then let's talk about it. Like, okay, but that could be pretty boring. But when you're actually sitting down watching it and fucking cracking wise with everybody and then discussing it after it, no, that was pretty fun. I liked that.
And we were pretty good with not being too talkative. It was just right.
There were the necessary moments, though, you know, when you got a man fucking nuts deep in oil in a barrel in the desert, or when our big dick hero is fighting a goddamn monkey.
And all of them were David Carradine. Yeah. Yeah, for real. Yeah, so I think the movie night, I don't know whether you guys like game night or movie night better, but it looks like a lot of people are liking the movie night. So, David Morgan says another movie night. That might be his vote for this weekend. We'll see.
Yeah, fuck it.
I'll make myself available Saturday if you guys will. So we'll do something Saturday. How about that?
Yeah,
we'll meet up Saturday. We'll meet up Saturday like 9:00 ish Eastern, and ish. You know, like maybe a little before, a little after. Like I'll be more accurate when we get to Saturday. Probably like 9:00. We'll all get together and we'll either do a game night or a movie night. We can't say which till we get there. So how about that?
Hold on. No, fuck that plan. That plan's stupid. There's a better one. Hellspine says you guys want to maybe do a sleepover at my parents' house. They said it's cool.
Not only will we, but we are having someone dox you at this moment so that we can approach and appear and then just take over. And it's going to be our house.
I'm hacking into him right now, boss.
Watch, it's a fucking drug den, and we're both going to be excited and horrified at the exact same time. Wow, look at all of these drugs. Fuck, it's dirty. Let's get out of here. Fucking Hellspine's awesome.
Take a bag with you.
Aw, Eddie's cold. He's got a cold. Eddie, malachite. Grab malachite. It'll help ease it. I love malachite for that. Charge it up.
I do want to go back to what you were saying with the shadow stuff, though, too.
Oh, okay. Let it rip.
Well, you know how I've been seeing things when I was at work all summer.
I know about that.
I think I know. I think I was there. Yeah, I think you told me about that.
I told you about that, the little black cat and everything.
Yeah.
Throughout my course of the Christmas season there, every so often there would be a tall man.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's a sexual pervert somewhere in that place. I think I know who it would be.
That is.
What's that?
I think we know who that is.
Actually, it's probably a couple people. There's at least two that I would say fit that description.
It couldn't be Admiral Dick Grab. Definitely not.
Actually, he kind of does that, yeah, now that I mention
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Admiral Dick Grab. That's Lord Admiral Dick Grab to you, peasant.
I don't think you've talked about it, but there is. I've heard stories. There is a guy at that place who likes to grab the cock.
He doesn't work there, though. He comes in a lot.
Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah, the guy I kicked. Oh, no, he's another dude. No, there's a lot of fucking perverts, man, I swear.
He's,
Touchy-feely fool.
He's married with a kid, but
This is a family show, honey. Let's not insult people who... No, all right, I don't want to say it because I don't want to sound... Because I know I'm already in enough trouble on Facebook. People are calling me a white supremacist and I'm fucking not. And they're calling me this and that, and I'm not because I dared fucking have a political opinion that's not fucking woke as hell. But no, I mean, it is obnoxious when someone, isn't true to themselves. We'll just put it that way. And it's yeah, he fucking grabs everybody. He fucking grabs everybody. Yeah. It's like what every straight man's afraid of. It's not even, not me, but, stop touching me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the pet names.
Oh man, that guy's a fucking pervert.
Oh, so, I fucking hate pet names. Fucking unsolicited pet names.
You got it, Flesh Priest.
Yeah. That's different.
You helped generate that name. You were there when it happened. You could have said no.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm saying unsolicited pet names, like from strangers on the street. Just.
I can see that. Like a pet name is like a dick pic. If you don't ask for it, you don't want it.
Yeah.
But I do want to say that I think I brought the little black cat home with me.
Well, see, that's the thing. I've been getting a lot of questions about shadow animals, and to my understanding, they are not a thing. I did put the shadow beast in there just for reference in Shadownomicon. It is an important concept because people do seem to see shadowy spiritual animals, right? But I don't think that they're really the same class of entity as a shadow person.
I don't think it is necessarily. It doesn't feel like a shadow. It just feels like a black being. It doesn't necessarily feel like a shadow. It's different.
Hellspine is quickly rising to the top of my charts of an awesome fucking commenter. He says, gay guys don't like to be touched either, that's for sure. Not like I'm gay or anything. Dude, that's a great comment, because I realize now how phobic that might have sounded of me to say it that way. But no, that's funny as shit. I
didn't take it that way.
Okay, I'm just saying, I realize, I know you don't.
Yeah, no, I fucking swing on both sides of the street. If somebody just walks up and grabs my dick, they better get ready to catch hands.
Potentially in a good way, if you like it.
Well, we haven't had of it happening. We had the security camera. Remember that time when you freaking kicked him?
I sure did.
I saw that. Yeah, I'm gonna give the fucking spark notes. The fucking security camera dude just walks up to DH while he's working there and just I don't know what, there was no audio from it, but I'm just gonna narrate this guy's internal monologue. Just ho, hey there, partner. How's your dick hanging today? Let me just. And as soon as it just as soon as he gets close enough, you just like take one step to the side and fucking spin around and just hit him with your heel right in his dick.
Yeah, I gave him a spinning back kick in his balls.
And he just goes, "Whoop, okay, well, see you tomorrow."
I tinked him. I didn't hit him as hard as I could. I wanted to lift him a little bit and give him a show, because I swear to God, it was like, when he did that, then I shoved him, because he's like, "Oh, that didn't hurt," and he's like almost falling over. I had to shove him. He was a dick, man. I hate that
As
guy.
he's practically doubling over, grabbing his crotch. No, that didn't
Don't
hurt.
forget, I didn't even look. Don't forget, I totally fucking ninja'd his ass because I didn't actually look. I literally was standing there. I just went like in those samurai movies where he's sitting there with like the jingasa over his face and you can barely see his eyes, and like you see his eyes go like look to the side, and then ching, it was kind of like that. I kind of like pow, and I just freaking I'm making it a little cooler than it was because I'm a big fat fuck in the video, but it was pretty funny. That's before I lost weight. It was smooth. I'll give myself that. I look like a fat bastard. I look like Fat Bastard from fucking The Spy Who Shagged Me, like suddenly doing kung fu on somebody. That's what it looked like.
No, you don't.
I think I do.
No.
Not like I looked when I was in my prime. When I was in my prime, he probably would have been flying across the room, and I would have looked like whoa, and done the whole thing with my foot, just like whoa, and put it down. So yeah, well, keep going, honey. So you're talking about the shadow cat thing. Like you don't know what that would be. What do you?
It doesn't feel like a shadow, but it's definitely an entity of some sort, I think.
Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing, like there's no reason why other spirits wouldn't appear to people in a shadowy form, even potentially exactly the same as a shadow person. Like I make that clear, is like, just because it's a shadow doesn't mean it's a shadow person. There's a distinct energy difference, a distinct nature difference between them.
It's a definite different feeling, like when the shadow is around, there's a certain coldness.
Paging Eric Quetting. People are asking for you in the comments. I don't know if you're still watching, but someone wants your attention if you're available. Paging Eric Quetting to the green satanic phone.
I don't think he's in here anymore. I just
don't
did
think so
a little
either.
test and tried tagging him, and he's not popping up. So
yeah, he
he's
must
not
have
here.
left. Yeah, he's not here. Yeah, but so there's definitely a lot. Thank you, General 7. Yes, I did. I kind of stuck at the moment at 260-ish. For like 2 weeks now, I've been like hovering around 260. So I think I've been stressed out, obviously, from all the shit going on with the election and fucking New World Order taking over and all that good shit. So I'm kind of like, fuck. But today it washed off, and I weighed myself. I was like, I lost 3 pounds, back down to 261. Awesome. That means I'm on a downward spiral again, which is cool. But my goal is to be about 220 come March. So what's that?
It was definitely stress. It's not like you were eating more or anything. You were eating the same amount, if not less.
Yeah, it could be stress, retaining all the water.
Anxiety, all that.
Oh shit, people are saying Jay and Silent Bob, back in the day, I've got pictures of me. I'll post them on Discord one of these days. Just ask me nicely. They're also on my Facebook. I got pictures of me from when I was younger. And when me and my friend used to hang out, he looked exactly like Silent Bob. He looked exactly like Jay, and I looked exactly like Silent Bob, except I didn't dress quite the same, because I didn't wear sneakers and a ball cap. But I always wear a trench coat, and I used to have the long, loose hair. I didn't wear a ponytail everywhere. And I looked like the spitting image, and to the point where we went outside this place on Long Island called the Witch's Brew, and we were hanging out there. This is like way back in the late 90s. We were hanging out at the Witch's Brew back when it was cool, before it became a lame little like the lame version of what it is now. And we were standing outside hanging out, smoking a cigarette, and my friend does the fucking J dance that he does. And I'm just kind of standing there like, doing like the mind trick thing with the cigarette. This dude comes running out. Do you guys do fucking parties? Oh man. Well, thank you, Hellspine. I don't deserve cred. I deserve credits. Like I want money. No, I'm just kidding.
I just responded with the link in chat, but somebody was asking about the mirrors. You can find them at the Mind the Shadows Etsy page, which I just linked.
If you guys aren't familiar, at the very top of the chat there is a blue pinned comment. If you click on that, unless you're on your phone, it might be hard. If you go there, or if you go to the description of this video, either one will get you there. In the blue pinned comment, there is a link to my link tree, which I use because I've got about, I don't know, was it 12 different links now? So rather than just like give you a wall of links when you look at the description of my videos, I use Linktree to everything I have. If you want to support me, the Etsy is there. It's Mind the Shadows. If you go to Etsy and just type it in the search, it should come up. You can also go to www.mindtheshadows.com and you will find my general website, which isn't quite up to date. I need to add some stuff again to it, but it's still there. Adam Abuchi is there. He's, okay, I don't know if he, hopefully he's comfortable with me saying this. Adam Abuchi is my health expert that actually taught me the keto that changed my life so far. And that dude's fucking awesome. I don't know how, what's that, sweetie?
Changed my life too.
Changed your life too, in more ways than one. I mean,
I'm down to...
yeah, you lost a monstrous amount of weight and you weren't overweight in my opinion. You look perfect, so you look even better now.
So it changed my life too, because like I'm not actually vegan anymore, but I'm the vegan sitting over here like, oh great, now I got to deal with some keto people. Like, oh my god, I thought vegans were bad. I'm just talking shit. You guys were not like that at all.
No, we are, and I told you I was, because it's so life changing that it's if you guys can do it. Oh yeah, dude, Adam, if you want to call in too, if you can use Skype, dude, I would love to have you on too. Love it. In fact, we should get let's give Camilla, if you want to stay on with us for like the whole show, Camilla, you can do that. But let's get Ace on, and then maybe Adam if he wants to call in. I'd love to have Adam on and tell us a story. I'd fucking love it. Adam is a wickedly cool dude, and I've wanted to get him on my show for a long time, but he's not shy, but he's like, you know, he's modest, right? He doesn't always want to like put his face in everything. But the dude's like a freaking bodybuilder and all this stuff. At least at one point, I don't know what he's doing now, but up to you, brother. If you want to come on, just hook up your Skype and message Yepson. So what do you say, honey? What would you like to do?
What would I like to do?
You want to stay on while we talk to all these people?
Oh yeah, no, I'll be on.
Okay, so we'll keep you on. Let me arrange my screens. We'll bring on anybody else who wants to come on.
Hey, give me some credit too, by the way. He might be a bodybuilder, but I build bodies. I'm the flesh priest.
He does. Nobody likes a fame chaser, Flesh. I am the best. I mean, oh shit.
Okay.
So that bottom right quadrant is where we pull in the next guest, whoever it's going to be.
Yeah, working on it at this moment.
Hopefully Ace has Skype now, because that would really help.
He does, actually.
Awesome. Okay.
Working on it, and it's one of those fucking banes of my existence, the live.cid. Hash bullshit, which is a pain in the ass to type in. The first time people message me, it's always a pain in the ass because I got to type that to invite them, and then the next time it's always like, oh, now I can actually just use their name. Great, thank you. Wish that could autofill a little bit quicker. Summoning.
Wom wom.
Wom wom wom.
Wom wom.
I don't know why that amuses me so much. Wom wom. Wom wom.
It's a good mantra. Just go wom wom wom.
Wom.
Hello.
Hello.
I think I hear him.
What the fuck is up, Ace?
Yo,
Ace, do you want us to see you or no?
Sure. Hold on. Let me put it on.
All right, man.
So I'm gonna be straight up. I love the fact that you called in. I love hearing from you, and I love hearing from you even more now that there's not the echo from hell going on.
I know, right?
You're gonna just enjoy the sound of your voice.
All right, I don't know which one of these is going to be you, so hopefully.
Is it on yet? The video?
Not yet. No. And yeah, speaking of the sound of his voice, for anybody that doesn't know, Ace the Goblin on YouTube, and I think you're on SoundCloud and Bandcamp too.
Yeah.
And I know Instagram for sure because I'm on there. Like, go check out his shit. We're not just sucking his dick because he's on the show. Like, really good music. Okay, you added the slurping sound effects, and now it's gay.
Because all the cool people slurp nudes. You know that.
Well, I am pretty cool.
So Adam says when he calls in, he'll do it on Discord if he does it. So that'd be cool.
Okay, I think I see him hanging out in there right now. So,
just hang out
yeah,
there
we
for
can
as
get
long
to
as you
it.
can, Adam, because we're gonna hang out with Ace for like a good 10 minutes or something, and then maybe we'll have you guys all on in a big ass group call. So I think we're starting to get video. No, not yet. If we can't get video on Ace, that's fine. But let's see if we can get it. We always give him like
I
all
don't
these
know why
technical.
I'm pressing the video option, but it's not.
It's not working.
You know, I
Okay.
don't see anything.
All right, no problem.
The
So-
important part is we can hear
something's
you.
happening. Something's happening. Nope. Never mind. Yeah, we can hear you fine. So what's going on, man? How you doing?
Definitely. I'm doing great, man. How are y'all? How
Well,
have y'all been? this
getting over the drama of the last couple weeks, but other than that, fucking pretty good actually. In all the ways that matter, pretty good, especially today.
Oh man, that's great to hear. Great.
So what's new? So you've been working on music, and tell me one thing, right? So we barely got to talk much last time because we had like some issues
Yeah.
and stuff.
What's that?
Tell me, like, all right, so what is your experience with magic and these kinds of left-hand path spirituality, non-duality, all that stuff? And then tell me, like, did you decide to do rap about some of these ideas at, like, always? Did it just come to you one day? Like put together, like, how your music
Well-
also became a part of that.
Well, basically, I have been practicing left-hand path sorcery for a great time now, and you know, I've had many experiences with different invocations and evocations, and you know, different spells and things, and many astral travel experiences and lucid dreams and normal dreams of, you know, in the, you know, Luciferian Sabbat and the witches Sabbat and
Mm-hmm.
you know, things of that nature. And but with the music, no, I didn't always rap about, you know, the sorcery and what I do always, because I started rapping when I was very young, and along the way, like I was always like, I'm a more darker person than many people, and I've always been that way since a kid. And so I've always had this horrorcore tint to my, you know, music, and you know, being in touch with the left-hand path. But I didn't always make music about that. And that came maybe like 3 years ago, and then I started making music on the left-hand path.
Now, how old are you? You sound like you're in your 20s. Is that right?
I am 20.
You are 20. All right.
Oh,
So,
fuck yeah, we got somebody on who's younger than me.
yeah, he's pretty mature for 20, man. I could tell. You know, I mean,
Yeah, I'll
you know,
be
probably doesn't
21
have,
this year.
he doesn't probably have
Whatever year it
everything
is,
figured
that's
out,
fine.
but yeah, he could probably hang out
God
with us.
damn, now.
Are we really that childish, honey, that we like hang out with like people that are like 20 years younger than us and we're cool with it?
You know,
Like, how do we do that? We're corny. That's
makes
what it is.
like different.
Y'all
Honey,
just-
your microphone's not picking you up well. You're kind of robotic.
It's not.
Yeah, I
But
think
now,
I think it's just you're too far from
Yeah,
it. So
it's kind of cutting out.
It should give you my if you. Now you get to see the other side. Desmond, are you watching?
what's that?
Oh,
Yeah, I think that's
now I
better.
am.
Is that better?
So we got a sandblaster
now-
in the corner we haven't used in 20
Yeah.
years, but we got it.
Now I can
Belt
see the rest
sander.
of the shop.
This is what I've been cooking for the past like 2 weeks because of our mishap.
Yeah, when we had the fire. For those of you who follow us on Discord, we had a fire in that shop. Yeah,
No,
man.
it wasn't a fire.
Fuck that.
it was like a fire.
Oil burner. He had soot all over the place. It was a disaster.
Yeah.
You know what I like about when I listen to your music, Ace, too? It's like I have coworkers who call fucking what Ghosty Main and Suicide Boys and like
Yeah.
these guys are satanic as fuck. I'm like I'm just, they don't know about what I do. It's just like, no, no.
No.
And yeah, when I listen to your shit, it's okay. Yeah, he knows what the fuck he's talking about.
You know what it is? Back in the day,
Definitely.
Satanism and all that kind of stuff
You
had to
see-
be edgy, and now it can be normalized because it's turning into like just a strain of new belief. But
You know, I don't have too much of a problem with being edgy because,
Mhm.
like I said, I'm one of the darkness, and I'm more of a darker aspect of type of being, and I don't see a problem with that. Yeah.
no,
But
I
get what
agree
you
with
mean
you. Yeah.
by when you say edgy, like when they're want to let's sell our souls to the devil and things like that.
Yeah, it's
Nah,
cringy. Like edgy to me
you
is like
know,
the dark version of
because
cringy.
the left hand path is definitely not like that. There is
No,
no
no.
selling of the soul. Because the soul isn't something you can sell. It isn't something you have in your pocket. It's what you are. You can never sell it away.
Nah, you couldn't sell. Now you could devote your life to something. You can sacrifice your time and energy.
Yeah.
You can devote yourself to someone or something. But that's like selling a thought. Like you can't sell a thought, right? You
No.
can package it and you can sell the medium you put it onto, but the thought's always yours. You can't give it away.
Definitely.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. So you say you do a lot of invocation. So what do you do magic for manifesting results, or is it more about improving yourself in theurgy? What do you do exactly if you had to lay it out?
It's both. It's both theurgy, manifesting. You see, I'm on the left hand path, and I'm a satanic Luciferian. And what my way and the way I'm going, my path is about self transformation and taking the worser parts of ourselves and transforming them into our greater selves, because magic is another definition, also means ascent, and it means becoming greater. And that's what the left hand path is truly about. Really, it's about the physical life and the spiritual life, the infernal and the empyrean realms. And yeah, that's where I stand.
I would disagree a little bit on the improvement or any of that stuff, because instead of thinking of it as improvement, you're already perfection personified.
Definitely.
So what you're really doing is
you're soul level.
You're removing the distractions that cloud you from understanding that. So it's like this. It's like this. Everything you do is perfect. The most disgusting bodily function is a perfect action. Everything about it is glorious and divine. You only think it's disgusting because you've been trained to think that. So that perfection you're looking for, that improvement, is better thought of as like let's rub the delusion out of our eyes. And the irony is
definitely, and don't think of it that way, because I don't think such less of myself. I also, I am always been told that I'm, beyond my years, and I think very highly of myself, and I know that we are gods, and we are here on the planet as taking a human experience, but people, look at gods outside of themselves, but we are all gods, and we are what make this realm shift and move in rhymes and things like that.
Mm-hmm. You're here to experience the experience of experience. It is as it is so that it can be as it is, so it will always be as it is, as it always was, as it always will be. It is an endless
Chuck.
It is an endless flow of what is, and that what is the point.
Yeah.
There's no no end to the river. Okay, there's no end.
No.
It evaporates
No
and starts over, but it's
never ending blackness.
Well, everything's within that blackness, isn't it? Like the darkness is the container for the light, and the light is what defines the darkness. So
yes,
you need to have both. I found that like the edginess.
But that's the thing. You see, hold on, one thing on that, by why needing both. You see, the darkness and the light is already balanced in reality, and that's what we have within us no matter if one leads more towards the darkness, because you see, the darkness, it resides within our body and our mind. You see, we have the predatorial instincts, which stand in the darker aspects of ourselves, and then you have the creative instincts, which resides in the light aspects of our being.
So if we're going with a really metaphysical, or we'll say esoteric understanding, the darkness is the feminine and the light is the masculine. The masculine roars into the feminine to impregnate it with itself, to give birth to new ideas, to illuminate the darkness and show what's actually lurking in there. And then that darkness, though, needs to be receptive to that light and always be there. But it is always, technically, the seed is nothing without the soil. The soil is nothing without the seed. They need each other, right? The soil is just dirt without a seed.
Yeah.
We only call soil when you put growing stuff in it. Otherwise, it's just dirt. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the darkness is just if he doesn't have light to shine into it. This is why Lucifer, right? Everyone would say, "Oh, Lucifer is this dark ass." No, actually, Lucifer is one of the most solar deities there is. It's one of the most brilliant lights in the darkness.
The light bearer. You heard what I
motherfucking
put
light
at
bearer.
the beginning of that song that
Right,
I
right.
recently posted on YouTube. That that audio clip from the etymology of Lucifer.
Guys, if you don't know,
And there's a lot more to that audio. I just put the just a little bit in for the track.
if you guys don't know, go Flesh, if you can, throw it maybe on the chat and Discord if you can. Put a link to his channel a few places so people go.
I actually already posted it in
Okay.
the chat right now, and if anybody is watching this not live in the future, I'll make sure to have it in hopefully one of the pinned comments at the top.
Yeah, especially since we're going to be collaborating a little bit, Ace. Like, hopefully that happens soon. Take your time, though.
Yeah.
Make it beautiful.
I was just about to say that because I was just about to speak on that and tell you, two of the tracks that you allowed me to use, I am putting those two in the album, like I told you, and then the other one, the Shogun one, is the one that I'm going to do outside of the album, just
Okay.
as a single release track.
Will that
And,
still have like
but
that
and
Shogun theme to it, or is it are you gonna left hand path it up? What are you gonna do with that? I'm really curious to hear what you do with that one.
oh, the Shogun one. Oh, yeah. I'm definitely gonna, it's always gonna be the left hand path, but I'm gonna, it's gonna be like a track where it's just, me spitting through the track, because
Okay.
I really like the beat. It's a hard ass beat, man.
All right. No, I like that one. I forget how I made that one. What I really liked when I made that one was the off timing of the. So you got the beat, but then the melody, the music that goes to it is like just slightly off, but then it all comes together at the right moments in the song. So I love that.
Yeah.
I don't know what you'd call that, like a staggered beat. I don't know what the word for that is, though. I don't know what the word is for one.
I don't know, but it's still pretty red.
Okay, send me the track. I'll listen to it and I'll tell you what it is.
Okay, yeah, you're the music nerd. Hold on. Rack, I gotta find it because the problem is I have to like log out of Facebook and sign into my other secret Facebook identities because it's on Reverb Nation, and Reverb Nation is stupid. Let me see. Actually, it was stupid as my computer.
Oh
too.
yeah. Just go to Reverb and type in Fatebinder.
Yeah, Fatebinder. That was my old. That's actually what my YouTube channel name is still, Fatebinder.
That's a pretty cool name. I like it.
I mean, because I figured it sounds like I'm binding you to your fate. I'm like, yeah, I like that. Am I still number one? I'm still number one in East Northport. Look at that, everybody. Still number one.
Oh wow, that's pretty awesome.
That's nothing. I'm like number 1 out of 10 guys. That's a joke, man. Actually, I am like what 250 in. I'm 277 nationally, but I'm 666 global. You got it. With like 20 song plays. That's how ghetto freaking Reverb Nation is.
That's pretty sick.
So
Hold on,
dumb,
it was
I hate
the East Avenue Shogun?
Yeah, yep. I can play
Alright.
it if you want. I don't know if you'll hear it though.
I'm
Let me-
actually listening in the background right now.
So let me pause the current background music. I'll blow this one up. All right, you guys will definitely hear it now. At least the people in the stream hear it.
Yeah.
Let me fix that volume. Hold on, that's a little too much.
That beat is awesome, man.
Sorry about your eardrums, everybody. Sorry. I won't play more than like a minute of it. It's kind of just not repetitive,
Oh,
but it was meant to be like wrapped over. That's why.
Okay, so I think I know what you're referring to. I call that unquantized.
Unquantized. Okay.
Because like the drum beat is keeping like a really straight 4/4 pattern, just but then you have the plucked stringed there, which are mostly keeping on the beat, but occasionally they'll fall somewhere just a little bit before or just a little bit after, not quite on it. So yeah, I
And
just
some of
call
them,
it
like especially
unquantized.
when it does like that little, because it's almost like you're supposed to be like some of the pluckings are meant to be like totally off time. Like it's got like a drunken quality almost. What I
Hey, man,
envisioned,
I
what
like that
pictured-
tortured portraits too. Tortured
well, I don't like that version. Like
portraits.
I don't like.
No?
I like the one that I have on YouTube. Fucking Dead Inside, because Dead Inside is really Tortured Portraits, the remake. Because I didn't like Tortured Portraits. Tortured Portraits is
Love torture.
all right. So everybody loves it, but
I
me.
like
That's
the
how it goes.
beat, man. The beat is sick. I want the beat.
You can have it. I mean, if you can, I mean, just reproduce it if you can. Do you have any kind of music software?
Yeah, I do.
Like I mean, I use.
Are you,
Flesh is
are
gonna
you
laugh
FL
at me.
gang?
So
Oh,
this
no.
is the
I
old
don't have
Dead
that
Inside.
right now. I have Mixpad multi-track recording software.
Okay, I haven't actually heard of that one.
It's like one of those that nobody really uses that much.
Emerald Thunder says, Ace, your work is the essence of magic.
Exactly. Exactly. Because music. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm
Thank
not one of
you,
these people.
Emerald.
I'm not one of these people that says that music is like some kind of like superpower thing, but it is a very fundamental element of human communication. There's something in music that, like, if I play a sad song, every culture knows what a sad song sounds like. We don't need. We all share that language, right? It's a universal language, music.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's just the essence of creation.
so if you guys want to, you can go to if I can get the link happening.
Oh, I got you. I got it pulled up right now.
Don't forget, I also have a music playlist on YouTube, and those are the songs I prefer people hear because those are I consider them finished. So I've got Midsummer Fantasy for the Goetia, and then I have Dead Inside. Those two are my two favorites, and I got some others in there too. So if you go to my channel and check out my playlist, I got Thorne's music. So
Yeah. Hey man, I really wanted to tell you guys my Beelzebub experience as well.
all right, man, sure. We'll do that, and then I think we'll get Adam on. If you want to hang out with him too, you can hang out with him, or if you want to take off. So, tell us your story, man.
Definitely, I can be here. So yeah, one day recently, probably like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I made a post on Facebook talking about how I've heard many Christians, try to say, Santa and Satan and things like that. And I said,
You mean Woden
well,
is Satan, man? What the fuck? It's basically Woden. What the hell is wrong with people?
yeah, it's funny. I said, well, at least he's depicted bearing gifts. What gift has their God brought them?
All right, now let's not be too mean. No, you got a point. Look, I mean, if we're gonna be
No,
honest,
it's just a response because they try to make it all negative. Oh, Santa,
yeah.
that motherfucker is Satan, and things like that. So that's why I say that.
You know
And
what?
it's
Like
still, it's
in
still
a
a joke.
in a real way, Yahweh, Jesus, all that, they may actually be the ultimate lords of shadow because they really make people fucking have shadows, dude. They really cause people to have deep ass shadows. That religion it really fucking does.
Definitely, man. And so when I tell you this experience, this dream, you're gonna laugh.
Well, I laugh a lot, so
It's kind of funny, but it's
okay.
kind of deep also. So you're going to see how this ties in. So, they try to play Santa as Satan. Okay. So I had this dream, and I was in my house that I'm in now, and I go into the living room where two people are there that don't live here. And we were talking for a second, but these are people I know. We were talking for a second, and then my girlfriend walks into the kitchen. And there's some essence about her. It's kind of weird. And then she goes back, and then next thing you know, the door flies open, and then the reality shakes a bit. It's like it kind of shifts in a weird way. I felt it, and in my vision and everything of the dream, my sight, and so I didn't see it at first because I had my back towards the door, but I felt it fly open. And then my cousin that was there said, "Hey, Beelzebub just flew in." And I was like, "Oh, really? Beelzebub? Oh." And it didn't occur to me that because this person is not a left-hand Baptist and they don't know Beelzebub. So it's funny that they said this in the dream. And so he flew in the form of Santa, bro. And Beelzebub is the Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
And so he's flying in. He flew in with no wings, but in the form of a mini Santa. And then behind him come elves. And these are the flies. Lord of the Flies. And it also occurred to me, Lord of the Flyers. Not like flies as the, insect, but flyers, flying
Sure.
beings. And so they came in, and there was this small elf, there was this kind of fat elf, and then there was this really skinny elf, really skinny, demented elf. They all look like how you would see fucking Santa is. They look kind of jolly, but kind of they had this essence on them that was, dark. And
Okay. Yeah.
but this demented one, you could see it on him. He had long fingernails. Fucking, he was real skinny and tall. He was a tall elf, but with the Santa clothes on, the elf's clothes on. And he was they were coming in, and then I went because they came down the hall, and then I seen them, and then I went by them, and I got to look at them all, especially the demented looking one. And I feel a deep connection with that one for some reason. I don't know why, but that was the one that stuck out the most to me as an
What's the
essence.
name of
And,
in Northern Europe, like in Denmark and places, they have what's his name? I mean, they also have Krampus and everything. So it is kind of like, but they have all these different, like dark stories. Like we think of Santa as like the little Coca-Cola version, but if you go to Europe, Santa is like a good guy, yeah, but there's a lot of dark stuff that's wrapped up in it too. Like
definitely. I feel that, man, and the dream was pretty weird after I woke up from it, and I was like, oh wow. And I wasn't even working with Beelzebub at the time, man. So it was like a calling, made me want to work with them.
Well, that's the thing. Like eventually, I think the goal eventually for all of us is to, you work with the ones you need to, and eventually the goal is to kind of wean yourself off of needing to work with them. And then if you do work with them, it's out of pleasure or friendship more. And then eventually,
that's funny because I actually do that. Many times I've called entities to just to come and sit with me in a
Mm-hmm.
friendly manner and chill with me and listen to music. And one day I didn't even do it. I just saw it in my mind's eye. It's like I didn't see it as an apparition or physical, but in my mind's eye the image just flashed and I could see all of them sitting around me, and I felt it, because I would always be doing it. And
And
yeah,
that's it, right? And I was going to say, like, I don't know if you know or if you've heard me say this before, but one of the
because
most
one thing, I don't treat them as like, some god, that I'm begging for help. I also look at these as a part of me, part
yep,
of my
yep.
being, and as
The thing that you
within me.
see actually is you. The thing
Yeah.
behind it, though, it's almost like you're doing a hand puppet show for yourself. Like, imagine you put your hand up in a Beelzebub sock, and you're like, "Hi, Beelzebub. Hi, Ace the Goblin."
Yeah.
And what you don't realize, though, is some of what you're doing, not all of it. Sometimes if you're really new at this, it's like 2%. But then eventually you'll find that like 50%, 60%, 80% of what your hand's doing in the puppet is being inspired by something else that's not you. So it is you.
Definitely.
You're talking to yourself. You're talking to a part of yourself,
Definitely.
but it's something else that's inspiring it, and it's
Yes.
internal, external. Somebody asked on Discord
And that's the
today.
thing. Go ahead.
They asked on Discord, like or was it? No, it was on YouTube. Somebody who follows me, Brother Sokar, who actually started following me on Instagram. If you're watching this, Brother Sokar, what's up? Shout out, because he likes he's a big Lovecraft guy. Like he loves the Cthulhu, style
Yeah.
spirituality, right? And that's something I
Yeah.
enjoy too. And I think he actually belongs to an official Cthulhu church or something like that. So he's on there. He asked me, like, he had like this dream or something, and like, what was it? Was it a spirit? Like, what did it? And I'm like, well, there's no easy answer, simply because I wasn't there for one thing, and there's no necessarily materialistically rational answer. What happens is our brains, for example, do not create new ideas. In other words, you will never imagine a thing you've never experienced or had knowledge of from someone give it to you. Like, if I tell you a story, now you know that story. But what our brain
It's all a
does
remix.
it's a remix, exactly. We remix ideas that we've had before or heard before. So what happens is, this is why you need to have, like, the more experience in spirituality you have, the better your messages get, because your language is better. Your spiritual language is good enough so that what ends up happening is the spirits then influence you to work with the memories you have to create completely new ideas, like new compound ideas. So this is why gnosis can be questioned. This is why, like, if you look at Enochian, which I started looking into a lot more again recently, if you look at Enochian, yes, it seems like a completely new language, yet it still follows certain English concepts. It's still letters that work in a certain pattern. It's still this. It's still a language-looking thing. It's not a completely alien idea. It's still going to fit within a human concept of language. So I love it. Like, I've been using Enochian more for creating chants, and I didn't even realize that I was doing something for years that was basically what you're supposed to do with Enochian to do chants. I called it phonetic. I called it phonetic sigil, phonetic sigil creation, where you take a magical sentence, like a magical command. I am the greatest sorcerer that ever lived, right? And you take all the letters out and you turn it into like just a jumble of letters. Now you phoneticize those letters. So for example, the letter W, instead of being W, would be like wa or we or something like that, and and you just create a chant out of that, a mantra out of that. I didn't know that's what they did with Enochian to create Enochian chants. Like, I didn't know that was one way you're supposed to use them. So what happened? Did I read that somewhere long ago? No, because I didn't like Enochian. I didn't like the idea of it. I never wanted to work with angels before, so I was like, fuck this. I had a misconception of what it was for years. I never heard of this before. And then I just one day decided I'm going to do magic that way. And then I find out that's the way people do it. So it's like, oh, fuck you all.
Just like how I think Ace read the dictionary one day, and ever since that, all his raps are just a remix of that book.
You just gave me a great image. Like, Ace, you need to get a photograph of yourself with like a huge dictionary, like you're wringing it out, like use Photoshop, like you're twisting it, And just have like words pouring out of it like you're wringing a sponge, and just like fucking cool ass fucking rhymes falling out of it. That'd be cool as fuck.
Hell yeah, that would be sick.
Before we get the next person on, let's pick one song that you want everyone to hear a minute of or something from your like in your last like couple songs. What's a good one?
Okay, let me look.
And Flesh, who are we gonna get on next? Who was the plan for next?
Next lined up is Jasonius.
Okay, Jasonius. Let's have him on for just a minute or two because I want to get to Adam because he's never been on, and we've had Jasonius on. But I want him on too. So let's do. Yeah, what'd you pick?
Oh, go ahead.
What'd you pick? You pick one?
Yeah. I guess you can play Gardens of Flesh and Bone.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
I kind of regretted. Not gonna lie, I kind of regretted not letting you guys play that last time. That one's pretty sick.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It might just be because that's the first.
The speed.
I like brooding, man. I'm a slow brooding guy. So,
yeah.
Like everyone says, like slow heavy metal music playing. I'm like, yes, that's my jam. I love slow heavy metal music.
Yeah. I love slow, bro. Do you know I have a music speed changer app on my phone?
Do you?
That just because for many years I've always liked to slow the tracks that I have down on my phone. I listen to them in slow, screwed version.
I don't blame you, man.
I love that. Even my songs, I take my songs and then I listen to them slow. And it's fun.
And the cornball version of that was way back in the day. I think it was Biz Markie was it's spring again, and he like fucking completely like drags it. It was fucking great. All right, I'm gonna play Gardens of Flesh and Bone. For those of you who don't appreciate rap and stuff as much as we do, we'll only put it on for a minute, but I know a lot of people do, so I'm gonna put it on for a minute. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right, starting now. And I like the way you. I'm not a big fan of Bleach, but I did enjoy the selection.
Oh yeah, you're not a fan of Bleach? No.
Nah, man. Well, actually, the first couple episodes when he's still alive, that was cool.
Bring him to the gardens of the flesh and bone, where the magic goods grow.
Is it playing right now?
From the sword, and you go get power from darkness of my soul. In the shadows of the night, I have flown. In the shadows of the night, I have. Bring him to the gardens of the flesh and bone, where the magic goods grown. You get sliced up from the sword, and you go get power from darkness of my soul. In the shadows of the night, I have flown. In the shadows of the night, I have.
The hook is kind of long, I know.
I'm only gonna go like another 10 because I want to get people excited.
The hook is fucking gold, though.
I really want them to hear the verse. That jazz play.
I'm a sorcerer that just gaining the knowledge and you have superstition. I'm channeling the blood and I'm witching and I'm drinking on the blood and I'm pushing on my sipping in the skeleton of prison. I will bring them to the finish in the darkness. I am summoning the sickness. You would never see me when I move with the quickness. Bring the motherfuckers to the gardens of the burning and the flesh. Motherfuckers are thinking that life predestined.
I mean, there you're like, how did you do that?
It all depends upon the thoughts you read.
That's what I was
If you
saying.
become my enemy, then you
Go
will
to
be
that
feeling all the
video
wrath of my
and
demon.
find my comment right there. Like, what the fuck did you just do right there?
I would disappear, leaving out my body and I'm hopping in the form of the spirit, learning the powers of the self in the different dimensions. I'm Lucifer, I'm individualistic. I come out of the dark.
Like one day we gotta get you on video and you just show us your tongue.
The plane is shit, your mind is twisted. I'm asking
Hell
the
yeah,
ritualistic dark magician.
It's supernatural.
Of the flesh and bone, where the magic goods grown. You sliced up from the sword and you go. Get power from darkness of my soul. In the shadows of the night I have known. In the shadows of the night I have. Bring them to the gardens of the flesh and bone.
Endless Thunder says that is absolutely badass. Lucas Bo says, I'm not gonna lie, I love this shit. Chopping into accuracy is dope as fuck. You know who I like? I don't know if you like it. I like Afro. Like Afro's like, I love like he came from nothing and like he's got huge vocabulary. He spits pretty good.
Yeah, man, I love chopping. I've been doing this for a long time. Yeah. I know a lot of choppers in the underground chopping community, mostly horrorcore.
In the shadows of the night I have flown. In the shadows of the night I have.
I have such a love hate with horrorcore on my end. Like, I love it. There's some dudes where I fucking love, and then there's other guys where it's like, just tune it down a little bit. Like, I like edgy, but just tune it down just a little bit.
All right. I hope you guys like it. I'm gonna stop it here. It's really good, but I want to get back because people are gonna be like, "Oh, what are we gonna talk about?" All right. So Ace, that was fucking awesome.
Bro.
No, dude, that was fucking awesome. And yeah, he says respect for that stuff. He's got something going right there. Like honestly, like there's a lot of good people who do interesting pieces. You're a dude doing this with like whatever the hell you got. I don't think you got like a big studio. It sounds like you're a guy working out of his house, basement, whatever the fuck. And it fucking sounds like I used to do underground rap shows when I was a like young man, like around your age. I was like a bouncer at them, and like you definitely with like just the littlest, like I don't even think you need that much. Like if you had the right fucking system, right?
I don't have that much, and I'm using a very little bit to record, and all I'm using is a microphone, a mic, and a laptop and the software, and a couple digital plugins.
Yeah, you got it down though. I've mixed a couple people who have been in your same situation, and it is always the fucking worst because their mic, they'll be singing or doing whatever, and you just hear.
You mean like mine does?
Crappy ass recording. You're just clean. I don't know if you're touching it up or if you just know how to record properly, but fuck, dude.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, some of the shit that I've recorded that you're like, oh, that sounds good, was back when I had my fish tank like 5 feet away and it was bubbling away and I had to fucking put a filter to clear it out. And it was like, and you had no idea. Like that's the funny part.
Yeah. I didn't know.
And that's the thing with making music, especially rap. You got to know how to record, because when I record with other people physically, and I just see, they don't really know how to do it like I do, but they're learning. But you got to know how to spit the lyrics into the microphone. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you got to get that popper stopper. Can't let it pop get into your music. Got to stop those P's and those S's on the mic.
Yeah, I know I know when I started doing some of this, I had a friend who liked music, and he'd say, besides just a pop filter, you got to learn to know when to turn your head away, like and move the mic away from like the spots in your mouth that make the stupid noises you don't want. So absolutely.
Such a spit.
Exactly. Yeah, should call it a spit shield, not a pop shield. Let's bring in Jasonium, and let's say hi to him. And Dozak has an interesting question, but I don't know if we'll try to get to that one. He's asking about blood sorcery, necromancy, the clip-off, and vampirism. Now, some of that I can answer, some I won't. But let's bring on
Eddie
Jasonium.
Was here because he could tell you all about clip-off.
Yeah, I'm like a novice at Kabbalistic stuff. So it's not my jam. It's just not.
Man, this is turning into a fucking Skype orgy right now. I kind of dig it.
I like it too. It's kind of fun. It's like this is why I was saying earlier. Like I want to make a retreat where like you have like, fuck it. We'll have like the Viking hall. We'll have the Zen meditation garden. We'll have the fucking black ritual room. Like the whole. The what?
Crafting corner.
And the porn hub. I mean the sigil activation room. I mean.
The sigil activation room of the flesh. And everybody, please welcome into this Skype orgy, Jasonius, the great and powerful.
All righty, wrap it up, Jasonius.
This is Jasonius. This is the spirit of the great Sean Connery.
Fuck yeah, man! I love Sean Connery. I know that you get in trouble for liking Sean Connery these days because apparently he's like misogynist or something. But fuck those people. Hey, we're not pussies. We love everything cool.
The art from the artist.
Yeah, she's banished because he was on about patriotism, which I said it was an actual lunacy. So basically,
fuck loving your country. Fuck loving anything good. Fuck it all.
Yeah. How are we, people? We good?
I'm doing better. It's kind of like,
man, how's it going?
Yeah, it's kind of like when you lose everything and you're still here. That's what it's like.
Yeah. I kind of feel like that myself. I've not been sleeping too well. I've got the old black magician insomnia, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Dude, you know what I had to do? I had to become a day person again. Like I was a night person for a whole year straight for a while, and it was great at first. By the end, you can ask the little red hair right there, the little blonde red hair there, what it did to me. I got real depressed after a while because everybody I cared about was asleep while I was awake.
I'm a night owl, bro. I'm up through the night Hell of a
Yeah.
lot.
The thing is, though, it's been since I've been undertaking this latest project, I've just been studying my arse off and researching, and obviously I've been doing rituals as well. So, which I had a really good ritual with King Paimon 2 days ago.
Oh wow.
Petition from my friend, and within 2 days later, she said, "Oh, this has happened," and I'm like, "Are you serious?" It's like he's just done. I only did that ritual 2 days ago, and I'm so overwhelmed, like how quick he really.
Everybody, like he's definitely one of the spirits I tell. Like if you read my book, Become the Maelstrom, Lucifer,
Yeah.
King Paimon. Like I'm like, do it. Like King Paimon is like easily one of the. Lucifer is just an introduction. I don't even tell you to work with him. I tell you, introduce yourself to him so you got your foot in the door and start working with King Paimon, because King Paimon, I'm not saying he's better. It's just that he's so much more easy for the average person to just vibe with and get along with and get results with. And he's eager. Like he's in movies. He's eager as fuck to be a big deal. He really is.
King Paimon, it's when he speaks as well, you can tell he's a very jolly type of spirit. You know, he's got that kind of playfulness about him. You know.
Well, the celestial that he's most associated with, I've identified as mostly, not entirely, but mostly Jupiter and Mercury. So you take Jupiter is one of his. He's a very jovial entity, but he's also a communicator. So he's got that Mercury going too. So like if you're going to work with him on the day of Jupiter. So work with him on Thursday, and work with him on the hour of Mercury if you can. That's ideal.
Oh, that's interesting. Jupiter and Mercury. I'll try that. Yeah. While I've been doing all this research and all these rituals, I've had a thought that keeps coming backwards and forwards all the time, and it's basically what's happening in the world. And what keeps coming back to me is the evolutionary jump that is upon us. Now, it's come to me in this form. It could be wrong, but it's just what my instincts telling me. That this evolutionary jump that is upon us, I think it's going to be brought down into 4 different aspects. So the first aspect that is going to obviously be first to evolve or have to adapt, your physicality and your physiology. Obviously, with this bullshit pandemic going on and the strain of virus, our bodies are going to have to evolve to be able to produce antibodies naturally to fight this new strain.
I think the antibodies are mostly mental with this one. I think most of it is perceptual, man. I think that's not saying that there ain't a germ out there, but I think most of the antibodies we need are intellectual. Yeah. You know, I think people need to be inoculated to bullshit, not to germs in this particular case.
So it is already in the body as well. It's just like he says, it's the mind state to focus upon that to make it not be effective on one.
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm not saying nobody's getting sick from anything, because that'll get you in trouble.
Definitely.
If I believed it.
I know a couple people who have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yet at the same time, like I don't think it's something you need to end the world over either. I think it's been completely exaggerated to the point of absurdity. Like
The question is, my question is, what will happen if the vaccine is more dangerous than the disease itself?
Oh, it is.
Well, then, aren't they? They've actually the powers of beads or the globalist elite are actually going to win if that's the case, because isn't that part of their agenda is to minimize global population? So
absolutely. I think that if we're quote unquote lucky, they'll be merciful, and they'll do it through sterilization and die off. They won't do it through huge plagues and shit.
Now you see, that's what I heard, but I don't actually think that could be possible.
Which part? The sterilization?
People, eliminating some of the population.
Oh, they can do it.
Well, people die every day, but then someone else is born every day, and so there's always going to be this much amount, and even more as we move on.
Well, that's actually I don't agree, because if you look in the Western world, especially for certain, I don't believe in race like that, but if we're going to cut it with demographics, certain groups of people are under reproducing to the point where, like in America, there's actually some states where there's less birth rate for like white people and some other groups that they're actually negative or they're going negative.
Yeah.
So that means over time they're actually going to die out. Now, so what I think they're going to do is with universal basic income, which is the plan. And I'm sorry, Flesh, I know you don't love these conversations. We'll try to cut this a little bit. But with universal basic income, they're going to be like, look, we're going to give you $2,000 a month and we're going to take all your property away. Like you'll have just the basics. Maybe you'll own you'll own your clothes or whatever. Like you'll rent everything else. And we'll take everything away that's not nailed down. We'll wipe your credit clean. We'll give you a $2,000 a month stipend, whatever's fair at the time. But you're also going to have to agree to be sterilized. You're going to have to agree to be sterilized, and the only way you can be allowed to procreate is if you do whatever. Like maybe you got a 1,000 hours community service, whatever the fucking requirement will be. And that's what they'll do. They'll get you. They'll get us slowly depopulated.
That leads to another question, though.
Mm-hmm.
Do you actually want to procreate? Do you want to do that?
Not everybody does. No, not everybody does.
No, I would.
I don't.
Yeah. Well, that's also a trend. That's a current trend. Now, that's another thing. That's part of their game. They get your brain. They teach you. Now, I'm not saying that that's where everyone is, but they teach a lot of people that. So, in the past, you were taught to procreate. Now you're not being taught to procreate. So in the past, it was a cultural norm to have as many kids as you could have, and you were encouraged, if not required, to have kids. Now we've removed that influence, and so a lot of people are saying, well, I don't necessarily want to have kids. My wife had a kid, I haven't. And so, I've decided a while back, I'm not going to push for it. I'm going to let that be a thing that I'm going to give to my own assent. This is the last of my bloodline. I'm done, right? No one else is going to have my bloodline. I'm dying here. And let that be a sacrifice to my soul, right?
Well, I think a lot of people were programmed, like in our former friends group, they were programmed to think that it is cool to self-hate and want to produce because of it.
That's true.
And I think that's another thing I like to add. Yes, they are taught that, and the left-hand path, goes actually the exact opposite of that. It's about, of self, loving yourself, growing yourself, and because essentially this life, your life, is actually all about you.
Yeah.
In this planet.
Yeah, I mean,
they say, everyone is the star of their own movie.
Yeah, we're also the center of our own universe. Literally, if you understand the way the universe works,
like they say, the universe don't revolve around you. It actually does.
It actually fucking does, because every point in the universe is the center of the universe. So,
our own gods and goddesses are our own universes.
Exactly. And where we overlap, we share controls. We're like playing a video game where it's like player 2, come on in.
Yeah, it's man.
So we've got this evolution, right? So we've got this disease coming out, and it's trying to make our bodies evolve on a physical state. So that led to thinking, no, your mind is going to be under these constraints, so it's got to learn to adapt. So your logic and your intelligence are going to evolve. Now, this is going to then, from these constraints, this is going to lead on to your emotional. You're going to have to be able to be more headstrong, because the constraints they're putting on you from your physical aspect and your mental aspect is drive a few people crazy. Now, my theory was, once these three aspects have been mastered and you've evolved those three aspects to the highest point you can, your spirituality is going to be projected further. And therefore, I assume probably going towards one dimension, a sixth dimension, maybe, because at the moment consciousness is where we're at. It's the awakening. We're awakening, and most of us are pretty aware of what's going on now. Not just in the world, but within ourselves and the path that we walk. And I think, to be honest, a lot of people who aren't awake or are not spiritually inclined aren't going to survive. this is what has been coming back and forwards all the time, you know, and I'm just thinking, is this right? I need to talk to DH about it, see what his take is. So,
Yeah, I agree and disagree. I think that there's the Great Reset and the Great Awakening, and they're doing battle to see what the future of mankind's going to be. And the Great Awakening, the very final answer to that is do as thou fucking wilt. If you want to survive and master this world, you will, but you don't need to be the most powerful thing you can be. In other words, if it is the fate of humanity to go quietly into the night of tyranny and destruction and depopulation, you are just a speck in that puzzle. You're not, you can't change any of that. What you can do though is you can set your sails so that this is why Become the Maelstrom is the way it is when I describe it, is you are the storm, but if you're going to really live that, you've got to learn that the things you don't like are also you. And that doesn't mean that you get to change it. It means that you've got to learn to go with that flow in a way that makes you powerful. In other words, if you stand against the sea is your enemy and it has infinite power over you. But if you lay down and use the tides of the sea to get you where you want to go, all of the power of the ocean is yours. So you've got to figure out where you want to go within the flow of what's happening, because that is why you're here. You could go anywhere. Your conscious self could jump to any rational universe that you can imagine if you can figure out how to get there spiritually, conceptually. If you can rationalize it, you can get there. That's what magic does. It gives you a rational bridge to go anywhere in reality you want to go. The thing is, if you can't accept that it's possible, you can say, I believe anything's possible. You don't. If you really did, you could fly right now. So,
can I add something to that?
Sure.
Can I add one thing? I totally agree, and it's something I learned about the Matrix, not the movie, but you know, the nature of the reality that we are in. You know, simulation type, you know, illusion, and but you know, you can do that. Go to any, you know, universe or realm or dimension, because there is truly no distance.
Yep.
It's all residing in one point, and it's like a video game, like earlier, you know, on that game, you know, you have the pixels and you can be in this one point of the game, and then you can go to the map, and then you can like fast travel to another spot, and it's like, you know, teleporting there, and you know.
Yep. It's actually it's actually a book that I will, or I don't know what it's going to be, because it's like a masterpiece that I'm working on. It's like, this is like my magnum opus if I ever finish it. And I don't want to call it that, because if I fuck it up, it's like a fuck up opus, a magnum fuck up. But it is one of the most important. It's going to be called The Greater Keys of Creation, right? And the idea is it's going to lay out, almost like the Hermetic principles, these ideas of, number one, to understand reality, how magic works within that reality in a very point by point way. And one of the keys, one of the highest keys, is the key that I call a paradigm gate. In other words, it's the understanding that your consciousness is what's moving. The universe doesn't move. It's a static thing. You move through time. Time doesn't move, okay? Your consciousness creating the illusion of time by moving through the record, moving through the book, moving through the Akashic record, if you will, at a certain rate. And you move through this Akashic record, and it creates the illusion of events, time, place, causality, the works. You can, just like you said, in a very rational way, you can leapfrog, you can jump, you can do what I call a paradigm gate and go from one reality to another. Now, I call it a paradigm gate because you're shifting paradigms. It's a quantum leap between one paradigm and another. But because you are trapped as a human being, or most creatures, most beings that exist, have a paradigm. They have an idea of what reality is. It has rules. Even when you're dreaming, you have rules in a dream. You may not realize it, but there's a logic to dreams. It's goofy compared to your waking dream, but it's the same thing. It's got its own rules. Like, you know, in your dream, if you piss, the piss goes down. It doesn't go up. And if it does go up, that's normal in that dream. It doesn't seem, it's like, oh, that's cool, I'm pissing up. My point is that there is rules. They're just abstracted. So in your dream, you jump realities constantly, from a world where you're riding a dragon in one dream to fucking chopping your arm off in another and growing a tree out of it, to all kinds of twisted ass shit that shouldn't make sense, but they're all possible. Well, that's what you're doing right now. You're in a dream, Except this dream, the rules are that there's very strict rules. So you're stuck in this you think it's a very structured thing, but it's not. If you want to shift to another universe, what you've got to do is you've got to create a rational way to get there. In the normal condition of human life, we shift to different paradigms by doing mundane actions we think. I want to get a better job, I got to go job hunting. So we've got to do these mundane actions, and that'll get us to a reality we want to experience. However, using magic, we speak to our subconscious using magic. Magic is a form of yoga. It's a way to align your consciousness with your higher self so that you literally communicate with your higher self and say, look, I don't know how I'm going to get over there, but that's where I want to go. Please help me line up the universe so I can get there. And then things that seem like they're beyond your personal control, what really happens is your consciousness says, okay, I can't rationally go from being, say, crippled to a person who can run, right? I can't rationally do that. But if I do magic, maybe a doctor will come along who can give me a prosthetic leg that's better than anything I ever had before, and now I can run. And that's why magic always takes a rational path. That's why no matter what you do, you'll have poltergeist activity and weird crap happen, but that's not the magic. That's something else. I refrain from defining.
That's something that comes along with practicing magic, and I'm glad you said that, because even being spiritual, because I had this one person who, done a ritual, and then they got super frightened because of the poltergeist ghost experiences they were having, and I simply told them, well, if you want to be spiritual, and if you want to
get used to that,
practice this, this is something that comes along with it. You're gonna be now more tapped into the spiritual realm. So this is what you're gonna have to deal with.
Yeah, and a lot of times those poltergeists have rational explanations.
On your mindset.
A lot of times those poltergeists have rational explanations. In other words, something rational caused it, but you as a spiritual person go, what the fuck was that? You notice the significance of it. And then other times the poltergeist can't be explained. It's like something floated across the room. I don't know how it fucking happened. It just did. Don't look at me, dude. That's not my game. I'm a smart guy. I ain't that smart.
Remember though, these spirits, when they move or they do certain things, that is their natural way of moving. That's because they're made up of energy and electromagnetic fields. That is how they move. Yeah. To us mundane people, we see that as supernatural because we don't see that every day. And
Sure you do. Move your hand. Move your hand. It's the same thing. It's just
exactly.
It's just you see it as embodied. A disembodied entity is no different than an embodied one, except it's just not wrapped around or in something.
Yeah, that's what I tell people all the time.
Yeah, it's
because, we are all spirits, and there's no difference in between the other spiritual beings who aren't embodied, and a lot of people fear that in the supernatural, but they're no different.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead, bro.
No, you're good, man.
It isn't good. Supernatural, really. Because, like I said, I was quite blasé about when I was on last chat, and I said, "Oh yeah, you have the usual paranormal stuff, like it's an everyday occurrence." But at my home, it is. It's like I video, put it on my YouTube.
Until you get used to it. Until you get used to it, then it's just like, oh, the teacup floated.
Yeah. But this particular night, it was like, do you remember the old 80s disco balls you used to have in the disco where they used to spin round? Like, I'm telling you, one night, you thought I'd put a disco ball up in my ceiling and spinning it. There were that many orbs just flying about. It was crazy. I've never seen it that busy before. Don't get me wrong, it is busy, but this was like, there was a mist, and then there was orbs just coming everywhere.
Sure. I mean, that's the thing about manifestation. When a spirit or something does, I have a mixed opinion about it because, again, like I said, consciousness is what's moving. All of this is an illusion, right? It goes back to the story of the sixth patriarch and the flag. There was a story where there was two Zen masters, two Zen monks, and they were arguing about a flag that was fluttering in the wind. And the first monk said that it was the flag that was moving, and the second said it was the wind that was moving the flag. Then the sixth patriarch comes along and he says, "No, you're both wrong. It's the mind that moves." And they were both enlightened at that moment. Because if you understand what he just said, you realize that nothing's moving the flag. It's your mind that is animating what you're seeing. So when you understand this basic concept and you extrapolate that as far as you can go, then you can put that to everything you see in magic. And you can say, well, I saw, we'll say, and I've seen some weird shit. One of the things I saw, like you'll have like just a cloud of something in the distance, right? And it'll just be like a vapor cloud. You're like, I think that's a spirit. Oh my God, it's moving. And what I would tell people is, A, it is just a vapor cloud. Maybe it's some steam. Maybe it's the moonlight catching some dust. That's all it is. But your psychic self saw that, recognized that there was an entity, an archetype, a mask, a spiritual presence, an egregore, whatever the fuck, that wanted your attention and utilized that moment to draw you there. And you're inspired. This is what spirits, this is why they're called demons and daemons. Daemons inspire you spiritually, psychically, magically. That inspired you to say that's a spirit. That's what you're identifying. Another good way to look at it is if I charge a crystal, I said this in my last stream, if I'm charging a crystal, I'm not actually putting energy into the physical crystal at all. What I'm charging is my idea of the crystal in a subconscious, magical way. So that if I handed a really sensitive person that crystal, they probably won't notice it. I've tested this many times. Sometimes they do. It's not like if I handed them an electrified wire, right? They generally don't know. I've fucked around with some people. I'd be like, oh, I charged a shit out of this, touch it. Oh yeah, I feel it. No, I didn't. I lied. And they're like, the fuck, you can't do that. Well, don't tell me you can sense energy when most people can't. Even I don't claim to sense energy other people put into things necessarily. Sometimes, but it's not reliable. Instead, what I'm sensing is actually what they're communicating to me in a magical way. Now, I know people don't like to hear that. People want this to be the superstition. They want it to be the Hollywood. But I'm telling you, it still works. If I say to you, I charged a rock, if I tell you a story where like I'm charging this rock, I'm charging this crystal with an intent, and I'm going, this crystal, I'm going to give them a piece of obsidian that's charged with protective energy. I'm going to give it to them to protect them. I'm not even going to tell them that that's what I did. They have no idea what's going on. But I'm like, here's my lucky rock. Just enjoy this. This is going to, it's going to protect you. And my own spiritual energy is protecting him through the anchor object that rock is. The rock is nothing. The rock is an anchor for your intention. The intention rides the rock and changes. Honestly, it might not even change their universe. In your universe, they're protected, and their version of themselves that you see will be protected. It's a very difficult thing to wrap your linear Euclidean mind around, to understand that we all have our own subjective reality that's valid. You may die in your reality, and I'll see you walking around plain as day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It is that warped, and that's why it's hard. That's why magic is magic and not. This is why I say metaphysics. Then you go down a couple levels and you get to magic somewhere. Below that, you get religion and superstition, right? Religion is dogmatized magic and metaphysics is what it is.
Mind control.
Mind control, beautifully so. I mean, not all religion is bad. Like we'll say religion is like kata in martial arts. Religion is like a kata in martial arts. If you do martial arts,
I have a song called "Religion is Mind Corruption."
It most time, but I'm not going to say it is though, because there are plenty of religions that are liberated.
No, yeah, not all of them.
Yeah. But they're rare, because most religions are a way to mind control. You're right. I shouldn't be so. I'm being a little adversarial, not in a negative way, but I'm being a little devil's advocate, because I don't like religion. I don't practice religion. I don't believe in practicing religion. But I wouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. For some people, like a Zen Buddhist would say, there's Zen Buddhist ways and there's other ways. There's a lot of ways to enlightenment, and they're not all the one way. There's no one way. This is why I don't, even though I claim I love the left-hand path, it's great, it's what I recommend. If you get a right-hand path person around me, I don't criticize them per se, unless they criticize me. I say both will lead to enlightenment. It's just the way I'm going leads it one way, and the way they go leads it another way. They're choosing to submit and serve, and at the end of that rainbow, they get disillusioned. I choose to be my own God, and guess what? I'm probably going to get disillusioned too, because the God I think I am is pathetic compared to the God that I actually am. So it's going to be, that's what that's going to do. So,
you know when you were on about the well, what I was thinking about when you were just going through that was when somebody says, right, this crystal does this, right? It's like a pre-program. The pre-programming, you'd say, well, this fluoride is good for healing. But who said to go to healing? It's good for healing, you know? You said it's for healing. I could use it for another thing. Like I said, I'm relating to this when you put in your intent into something, you know. Maybe I could use fluorite for something else, or I can use obsidian for something else. Who's to say it's to be used as somebody has told you, or what has been wrote about it? You know.
Think of magic almost like the placebo effect on steroids.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I think, because we are getting on in the time, and I want to bring on some of the other cool people that we had in mind. Adam's probably waiting patiently. The problem with Adam, since he's not on Skype, as far as I know, if he is on Skype, I hope he would use that, because since we got so many people in the chat right now, the only way everybody could hear Adam is if we all jump on Discord and jump into that. Unless Flesh, you got your magical technique that'll work.
You know what? Hold on. Let's keep the conversation going for 5 more minutes. I don't see Adam on anymore, but I'm going to try to message him.
Yeah, he might have got tired.
I'll try to set it up.
Yeah, he's on the West Coast, but he might be must be eating dinner or something.
It's like another thing that came to me as we were talking. It's like even though we're all conscious and we're experiencing things, it's like we're still in the dream state, and every reality that we want to go to is like us creating our own matrices to experience that. You know, our dream state experiences that. So when they're talking about the Matrix, the film, it is actually we've got our own matrix within ourselves.
Yep, we all make our own matrix. We're all Neo, and we're all the Overseer. We're all of them. We're them.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's one of those paradoxes, you know. Like I said, if it's a paradox,
you're doing it right. Yeah, if you're running into a paradox, you're hitting the truth. That's when
I've seen the Smiths come a lot of times.
Oh fuck yeah! If you try to tell people, look, I mean, I get flack because I voted for Trump or whatever, and I get love for voting for Trump, but I get the most Agent Smiths by saying that, right? Even if I go, look, I didn't particularly think Trump was right about everything per se, but he was the biggest monkey wrench I could think of to throw into the fucking establishment that would work. Because every other fucking thing we've tried for fucking thousands of years hasn't worked. But this crazy ass orange motherfucker comes up and they immediately start calling him racist and all this. And meanwhile, they were fucking breaking bread with him a year before that, saying he was a fucking saint. This guy came in and that's what happened. So I'm like, good, monkey wrench. Now I get assholes like on my Facebook, right? I mean, I say bad things about it. I don't like everything he fucking did, but I'm pissed that they stole it from him. But beyond that, like, I don't want to get too far because I can see Flesh Priest's eyes rolling over, but I get a lot of flack for it, and people are calling me racist and like I had this one dick fucking threaten my wife yesterday over it.
Yeah,
and
come on.
And I'm just like, motherfucker, he puts this thing on my wall thinking I'm going to fucking laugh at. He puts on witches against white supremacy. You think I'm a fucking white supremacist, motherfucker? I would love fucking, fine, come to my house. But after I blow you away, I'll fucking shit on your grave, dude. I'm not going to fight fair with fucking crazy people like that. That's fucking ridiculous. And now I'm in trouble if anything happens to him. They'll be like, oh, you said you're going to...
This is the thing, what they're doing with it doesn't matter which leader or which person, or if it's just somebody who's in the mundane world. If they want to get rid of you for good, they'll they might be breaking bread with you one day, and then the next minute they're going to destroy you.
Sure, I had that problem. I mean, I had that problem with, I'm not going to name the group, but the group that I got sort of famous, knowing them. Like, they fucking decided that I used them, and I had to fucking assert, and I had to be like, no, fuck you, you dumb. Never. That's the thing. People, when you start succeeding or when you don't think exactly like as long as you don't fuck with me, you want to break away from me and fucking hate me, and I don't care. Like, I'm not out to hurt anybody. I don't need to. Like, I just want to grow in my own beautiful way and just and not hurt people, right?
Philosophy, doesn't it? You've got, to me, I see, this is Taoism philosophy, and you say there's no right way, there's no wrong way, there is your way, and if your way works for you, you do it. I've got a philosophy in life is live your life how you want to, as long as you're not hurting anybody. You know,
Amen.
express yourself wherever
Or
you
a
want.
women. Huh. Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Agreed.
It's
Whatever.
like whatever works, whatever makes you happy. You know, if you're not hurting anybody else, it's all gravy in my eyes. You know
It
what I
is. Look, I mean, one of my favorite, I have a picture I found. I got to find it again. It's one of my favorite pictures I ever saw. It's these two, I don't know if they're like there's some kind of like desert tribal, like Bedouins or something, or Sikhs or something. And they're sitting in like this, like space desert. That's all I can say. Like sitting in like this desert, and there's like the galaxies and planets behind them. And they're like touching hands, and they're just like obviously sharing like their experience in life. And I'm like, that is the coolest fucking picture I've ever fucking
Oh, I
seen.
love that one.
You know what I'm talking? If you can find it, anybody, you know, like, you put the link in the chat or something. I want to fucking put it up. I fucking love that picture because to me that's my soul right there, because my soul yearns for these conversations. This is everything to me. I don't care if you're male, female, what planet, country, origin, don't give a fuck. If you are enlightening yourself and you are empowering yourself and you're willing to like approach me in the same, like, okay, I'll admit it. One of my favorite things, I will never say it because it's not in my dogma, but saying namaste, the meaning of that is how I feel. The divinity in me greets the divinity in you. That's how I look at the world. If I hate you, I hate your mask. I hate your body. I hate the stupid shit you're doing. I'm a Luciferian. I don't have a problem hating you, but I don't hate you for the dumb shit. I hate you. In other words, I hate for what you're doing to really hurt us all with your dumb shit. You know, like I'm not.
You can have a disliking to somebody, you know, when you've got this energetic interaction. Once you become like an energy sensitive, you can actually. And I've picked up on people where I thought, there's something about this guy, I don't like him. I fucking don't like him. I don't know him, but there's something I don't like about him. And lo and behold, he turned out to be a right piece of shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, I listen to my energy and I listen to my instincts. And that's what, you know, then processes me logically, makes me quite a decent people reader, if you like.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that when you develop your instinct and your energy in order to, you know, progress that way, especially in magic.
So fucking Elric sent me this weird gif of somebody getting something. I don't even want to know. He can explain it to me in the chat.
Essences and energy very hard.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, really quick, DH, you, who sent you that?
Elric, it's like a weird picture of somebody funneling something through a fucking glove into somebody's mouth.
The ovipositor.
Is that what it is? Okay.
He sent me that too. I'm like, yeah, I sent that to DH. While you were saying like there's this picture and I just love it of two. As you were saying that, I was showing somebody right now like, hey, take a look at this with my mic muted while I was listening to. It's just such a beautiful picture and image. I just love it. Like, oh my fucking God, the timing.
Hey, that probably wasn't just timing. That was probably something supernatural going on right there.
That was probably the universe speaking to me.
Dude, there's a great picture that I like to share. It's a dude who's like covered in like fucking ramen, and they're like they have like little tentacles coming off of him, and it says "We are the universe experiencing itself" or something. Like it's great.
Yeah.
That's why I always like in these talks, like I get all lofty in what I'm talking about, and then I feel like I gotta reference the ass or shit or your balls somehow to bring it back down. Okay, that one is exactly something I've said. Haven't I not said that I had a dream, a vision where people are like on the ends of long tentacles and at the very bottom of the ocean we're like the same creature? Like, yeah, that's like a perfect.
Almost like Lovecraftian in a way.
Yeah, that is perfect.
Hey, I want to tell you about an experience I had with. I've started getting into Norse music, Vikings, and I've watched a group last night called Halung.
Yep.
And fucking hell, they got to a part where they had the warriors on, yeah. They had all these warriors with the spears and the shields, and this music's building up into crescendo. And I'm doing some work, you know, doing sigils and what have you. And it's building up, and I'm like, I've got to put my pen down and all my arms out and just absorb this energy. It was fucking immense, man. And it's building up, and I'm feeling this energy. And then out of nowhere, I'm bursting in, I've got tears streaming down my face, but I'm like, oh, come on, And there's one guy who looked to the camera, one of the warriors, and he looked at the camera, and for that moment, he's like, fucking hell, I know you. You know what I mean? It really resonated within last night. And every time I'm doing work or preparing for a ritual, I'll stick that on, because it just really gets the energy flowing. It's like an anthem. It's like, one of these anthems that you can imagine some of the, being played in the Infernal Empire or at a warrior getting ready for battle. You want to. It was just one of those experiences, and obviously we've got a musician on the chat as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind
We
of.
got like 3.
Well, I do a bit of DJing myself, so.
Fuck it, you'll DJ our
and-
songs that we make up.
And hey, I'm so happy that you brought up. I never know how to pronounce it. Hell Young?
Yeah. Hell yeah, something like that.
The guy I mentioned earlier, my buddy, in real life, he's watching right now. That band is one of his fucking jams right now. I'm sure he's excited. Like, oh fuck yeah, I didn't think we'd get to them.
Oh yeah, they're it's like, even thinking about it now, it's like the energy's building. It's not just that particularly. It goes right through every song or every tune they play. It's just so invigorating. It really raises your spirit. It's like you can feel like yourself ascending. You can see yourself ascending. Even though like ascension's like a metaphysical.
You know what does that for me? A mix of binaural beats and fucking cryo chamber. Like usually that's what I do. I'll blast those two. I put the picture I found. I'm sure you guys see it, but those of you who are in the stream may not know.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I like that.
And so that's what I was talking about. Like to me, that picture is like that is just I don't know. That's it. That picture summarizes everything we're supposed to be doing. Like to me, that's it. Right.
That's
there.
what I'm thinking. Then that is how I've sinned last year, even though it was a shit year. This is how I've sinned. I'm grateful for being able to connect to so many great people through, actually being saved by a great being. And it's like every day I'm grateful for that. I was thinking, if it weren't for Lucifer intervening like it did, I wouldn't be able to connect with all you amazing people. And I've gone, I'm on a young path and 10 months on the path, but I look back, I knew nothing, and then now I know a little something. And it's like every time I look back, I'm constantly evolving every day. And it's like I'm back in martial arts, back in Kung Fu, whereas I'm evolving every day, every week. And it's just amazing. Seeing that evolution means I'm getting a step closer to my ascension, small steps. But these small steps, you've got to enjoy every second of it, because that's what it's all the little things that make the ascension.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I know, like, I guess I'm all over the place in a lot of ways. I'm very eclectic on, like what I'm about. And I'm certainly not a traditional Satanist. I'm certainly not a traditional Hindu, a traditional, non-dualist. I'm none of those things. I like to, like a good soup, I like to add a lot of different things, right? I like to mix it all together.
Definitely.
And what I find is that the more I look, I'm not saying everything's the same, they're not. But humanity is like a bunch of blind people. It's like the parable of the monks and the elephant, the blind monks and the elephant. We're all experiencing the same truth. We all find a piece of it that's
different
true.
parts of the elephant.
There's different parts of the elephant, and everybody's kind of right. So when the more the wider you cast your net.
I definitely agree with you on that, because I do the same thing, incorporate many different philosophies and mythologies and, magic, all different kinds, We're not just limited to just one.
Yeah. We're not limited to just one, and, but we are. Like, there is, so, like, is there a truth independent of us? Or does truth only exist within us, right? And that is, are you an objectivist or a subjectivist? If you're an objectivist, you believe that there is a universal truth and we all find it and find a subjective answer. If you're a subjectivist, you believe that there is only personal truth, and then where we all agree, we get an objective reality. I lean subjective. I personally lean, because I believe that we can only identify the truth through our own lens. In other words, for those of you listening who think D.H. Thorne is this great, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, if you knew me my whole life, I'm a jackass. But I get a lot of good ideas, and they're only good, though, because you agree with them. They're not that good. Like, they're ideas that I've had, and sometimes they impress me too. But generally speaking, you're the guru. I'm just a fucking speaker. I'm just the blah blah blah. And I'm literally the universe just going blah blah blah. And somehow in that pattern of blah, you find reason and logic and wisdom. You can find the exact same thing listening to the wind in the trees. You don't need me. You don't need me to tell you shit. And in fact, in my book, I talk about in Become the Maelstrom. That's one of the things I recommend is scrying to the sound of the wind. Yeah,
it's within yourself.
Yeah,
that's why many religions and philosophies tell you to go within.
Yeah.
To quote a power quote from a favorite person of ours: "Everything you need is within you now. All that you need is within you now." That is so amazing, powerful command.
It is.
Well, let's take that to the true level of what that means. The sun is in you too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because it's all happening within your little perception. You make the sun every time you look at it.
Definitely.
David Morgan says you're a channel, just like all of us.
Your own universe. Yeah.
Yeah. You are the center and the creator of your universe. Period. And where they overlap, reality happens that we objectively talk about. Now, I'm not saying that, a lot of people will hear me go, oh, you're a solipsist. Oh, you're only... No, I'm a subjectivist, but I believe in the matrix of our interconnected subjectivity. I do believe that what we believe influences what other people believe. This is why we can... Look, I don't think that I can, through magic, make you do anything. What I think happens is my magic influences you to think that I'm right somewhere. Your higher self, literally, our higher self, like at some point at the very end of it is the same thing. And we're both having this experience and we think we're fighting like our true hand. I can do this with my hands all day. I can take a knife and cut my fucking hand. But ultimately, who did it? Right? This hand, if it's got independent thought, it's going to be like, oh, you cut me, motherfucker. Like, yeah, that's right. I cut you, bitch. But really, I cut you, bitch. So this hand might think it's getting the better of this hand. Have you ever tried, this is a fun thing you can try with yourself. Most of us know that one hand is stronger than the other, but whatever. Most of us know that one hand is generally stronger. Like if you're right-handed, your right hand's generally a little bit stronger, if not a lot stronger than your other hand. Have you ever tried to beat yourself in an arm wrestling match? Have you ever tried to push and make one win?
No.
Like they've used from Fight Club.
Really? I didn't know that. I watched Fight Club back to front. I never heard that part.
I don't remember that.
You see him, he's fighting himself.
He's fighting himself. Right.
Oh,
right.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm saying, have you ever actually tried to? Have you ever tried to have one hand beat the other legitimately?
No.
Now,
try right now.
Now, I will tell you, physically, it is impossible because you're the fulcrum, so it can't happen.
I'm too strong.
But I'm telling you that the only way that can happen,
beat each other.
The only way that can happen is if you decide, the left one's going to lose. That's the only way it can happen. Guess what happens when you curse somebody? Guess what happens when you do a love spell? That's kind of what it is.
Influence. It breaks the will in a way. Well, not breaks the will, but it influences the will.
It's the higher self picking a winner and a loser.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. It's. I was watching Connor Kendall on a live video on Facebook, and was on about
Black Magic Twink.
Oops.
And he actually said, one person could have been working with a spirit for 20 years, yeah? Another person could be working with the same spirit for over a year. Now, when they're trying to curse each other, it's not the spirit doesn't care who's been working with him the longest. It's all about who's got the strongest will and who puts out the most energy. the most intent, you know. And it basically it goes for anything, you know, in life as well. If you put out the energy and the intent, you're going to get the desired results that you want. So,
well, don't forget. I mean, you may have a different belief, but in my understanding, that's all an illusion. Like that's all a game, and you're supposed to use that game, which is why I teach the game. It's like learning Monopoly, but don't pretend that that's real. Like you can say like I'm pouring a ton of energy in. If that's what gets your subconscious to work, go for it. If you want to really understand what's happening and then be able to transcend it, you got to understand the other part. That's more important. This is parlor tricks, and you're going to get bored of them eventually. You'll be like, all right, you know what? I believe I'm moving energy around. I believe in all this stuff, but at the end of the day, I can only get so erect is the joke, right? I can only get so much money. I can only get so much this and that. At the end of the day, you're going to go, this is cool and everything, but I'm still not succeeding where I need to succeed. I'm still not fulfilled. There's something missing. Right now you're fulfilled because you're learning it. It's a new toy. But eventually you're going to go, yeah, I get it. I can do magic and I'm hitting a wall maybe or something. You're going to have to you're going to eventually have to understand that this is all an illusion. It's all a dream. That doesn't mean you get rid of it. That doesn't mean you're supposed to like people ask, somebody asked a question, how do I leave the Ouroboros? How do I leave the cycle of samsara? How do I stop the pattern of rebirth? How do I stop that Ouroboros pattern? You really want to stop it? Don't try. You really want to stop it? Accept that it doesn't happen in a cycle. It's happening all at once. You're the hub of the wheel. You're the empty space of that it's encircling. That's you. The Ouroboros is what you're seeing around you. You think you keep going in cycles. You don't. The only thing that's going in cycles is your little perception of it. You can leave that wheel anytime. You can get off the ride and just say, fuck it. I don't want to be reborn. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. You can completely change the script anytime, but you really don't want to, or else you already would have, because you already have that power. There is no secret to how. It is like if you want to get up and get a soda out of the fridge, what do you have to do? You just do it, right?
That's simple magic right there. You see it in your mind that you want to get a soda, and then you go do it. That's simple magic right there. Cause and change with the will. Yeah. Your will was to get a drink, and then you saw it in your head. Begins with the imagination, and then you made it into the physical reality. Yeah.
And the physical reality again is the like, so there is a reality, there is a stuff, there is a thing. Yeah, but then the fact that you think it's physical or that it's this or that, that's the illusion. So like there is
it's not, because what's behind all of this is holographic energy. And that's why I like when Albert Einstein said this reality is a holographic reality, and we are infinite consciousness that, inhabits a body. And when we come into this body, we lock ourselves in, and that infinite consciousness that we are only works through a tiny lens.
And let's take it one more step, just for the people in the back who don't maybe know this. When we say it's all energy, even that energy is an illusion, because ultimately it just is. In other words, it's the concept of neti. Not this, not that. You can't describe it as any of these things. All you can do is simplify the explanation down to, eventually you get to just a hum, and then you go, well, even that's a something. And this is why I tell people, if you want to know what it's like to be God, learn how to do drop mind meditation, empty mind meditation, which I talk about in my book, Become the Maelstrom. Get into that, where you literally empty your thoughts, where you're not consciously thinking, you're just experiencing. At that moment, you are God experiencing reality through the lens of your physicality. That's as far as you can go.
And that's something I've even told people, not that, but in a meditation like that, people think that you can shut off your thoughts, but like you said, we are not our thoughts. And whenever we enter that type of meditation, we are becoming conscious and viewing and observing the thoughts as they come in and leave out, and the images and all that in the mind's eye.
And the mind's eye, that's God's eye.
Yeah, exactly. Come to you during meditation, like said, are not your own. It's like, have you ever woke up in the morning, and for some reason you've had a good dream, you've had plenty of rest, but you feel really pissed off. You are, I'm really angry. You know, why am I angry? No, the theory is that I read is that somebody who's pissed off on the other side of the world, you can actually receive their thoughts as it comes in, and it'll affect your emotional state at that time. You know, because thoughts are energy. You know what I mean? And it kind of relates to what you just said.
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't like that. It's a little
I got
superstitious sounding. But what I would tell you is
Wait, go ahead.
I was going to say I don't. The thing I don't love about that is it's a little superstitious. It's kind of like circular reasoning. There's no rationale for it except like there's a somebody who says it. It's not really what I'm saying. What I would say to you is, especially with meditation, when you clear your mind, you're getting you're removing the filter a little bit, because you're what you do. You don't think thoughts, you identify them. You don't think thoughts, they're happening in your consciousness somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's a constant stream of blah, 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 blah in the left-hand side of your brain. And your consciousness says, I pick out that word, I pick out that word, pick out that word, and they're relevant. And it's not that your left-hand side is thinking every word that exists, it's just that there's a bunch of thoughts going on and you focus on the ones that matter. Your normal life, the way you live in the left side of your brain, you tend to focus on a string of thoughts and avoid others. You know you do. When you hit meditation of empty mind, what happens is you stop looking at those thoughts altogether. But eventually, sooner or later, by accident or on purpose, you'll just start looking again. And the angry ones, the shitty ones, the toxic ones, the negative ones, the shadow ones, actually, sometimes are the first to bubble out if they've been ignored, if they're repressed. So if you have a lot of anger, but you're not dealing with it, in other words, you're repressing it, when your mind snaps back to attention, sometimes that's what's going to come through first. And it's going to come through hard because your filter's off. Now, you could say that's somebody else's thoughts. Yeah, I don't buy that, because that's just not, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying I don't buy it. I don't think that I would need to,
Well,
in other words, if you want to think that, I think that makes you a victim of somebody else's thoughts, if that makes sense.
Well, what the point I was making is that thought is an energy. You know, you have thought forms, your intense energy. It's a kind of energy. Energy travels, and you know, it's like if you're in kung fu or martial arts, your intent combines with your energy, it gives you the impact. Yeah. So you've got that. To make a powerful strike, you've got to connect your spirit and your energy together and your emotional state.
Well, go back to what I said before about time and consciousness moving through a static universe. Energy is an illusion. Energy is no more real than a solid object is. Energy is just a different density of stuffage of this stuff. And we could say, oh, well, then I'm talking about the energy of a wave, right? So what is energy? You know, people have energy, they have this picture of like a glowing substance, right? That's usually when we think of energy, it's a glowing stuff. But energy in the strictest sense in science is like a wave is energy. And a wave is not the ocean itself. The ocean itself is not the wave. The stuff that we think of the ocean is not the wave. The wave is moving through the ocean. So what's moving through the ocean? It's the consciousness. It's the consciousness that is moving through time and space. Time is an illusion, space is an illusion. So what is energy? If you're channeling energy, what you're really doing is you're deciding something. You're contextually deciding something has something, and you're going to a state of reality where you can feel that, where you can believe that. So I don't think that, so if you're operating in the materialistic side, which is fine, you'll function, then you're going to say there's energy moving and I'm intercepting that, and that'll work for you. But the guru grand master is going to be sitting there on his rock going, no, you didn't. And you're going to get mad, and you're going to try, and he's going to be like, no, you didn't. And you're going to use it on him. He's like, nope, didn't work. And you're like, how did you stop me? It's like, you didn't do anything to me. You can't do anything to me. I can't do anything to you. And you're going to sit there and go, yes, I fucking can. And you're going to beat against that rock over and over and over again. And it's never going to happen. Or it does, but it only happens to you. He is not perturbed. You destroy your illusion of him. You run up to him, you bow, and you punch him, and he goes down, he's dead. You go, yeah, I fucking caught him. He was wrong. Your illusion is satisfied, and you go on to your universe going, I killed the guru, I killed the master, ha ha ha. And he's sitting there in his reality, You punched him and you broke your hand on his jaw and he laughed. She said, go sit down. It's you don't get to change anything external to your experience. And I know that's tough because everything in our world tells us we do. In other words, everything that our teachers tell us, all from the moment you're born, everyone says that's real, not what's in your head. They tell you that's real, not the feeling. The feeling is real. The feeling is real because it's your experience of it. But that wasn't. That's an illusion, right? So you have been tricked because of your life. And I'm still tricked most of the time. I still pay my taxes. I still eat food. I still get out of the way of a car. I still do all the things that you do. But a part of me knows that I'm doing that because it's a game. So yes, you can play the game and say, here's the energy, boom, and I'm sending energy to you. And maybe if I'm playing the same game yours, I go, yeah, I got that energy. I felt that. Thank you. And you'll have that exchange and it'll feel awesome and it'll vindicate yourself. Then you'll go to somebody else, Joe Normie, be like, here's my energy ball. And they'll be like, what? No. And it won't affect them at all. So I'm just saying, I demystify this stuff a little bit because I would rather you be demystified and disillusioned and then learn how it can work anyway. Because that's more fun.
It's not mystified. It's all natural.
It's all I love that. It's all. I want to get that. Somebody isolate that. It's all natural.
You see, because people think that they have these conceptions upon the supernatural and spiritual realms, and they think that it's just so far out and so far from their grasp and something that their mind can't wrap around in. But no, that's actually the natural realm.
It's the opposite. The baby understands when the baby pops out of the womb. It understands way better what it is than you do right now. When that baby's looking at the universe with those new eyes, it's going, holy shit, this is intense. This is, what the fuck is this? This is insane. I couldn't wait to be here. Holy shit, that hurts. What the fuck is that? And then it slowly learns to forget that it's God. That's what happens. And as the brain develops, as it gets better conscious connection, as this body becomes more real than the dream does, than the truth does, then it loses itself and it becomes a thing. It's a beautiful sadness, right? It's literally like putting on a VR headset and living in it long enough till you forget that there's anything on the other side of it. It's like my kid just got Oculus Quest 2 and he's loving it. I'm like, what's funny about that? In my own head, I'm thinking the funny thing about that's basically VR. What you did. What's that?
I said I love VR.
I tried, man. I had the original Oculus and I didn't like it, but maybe I'll try Oculus 2.
It's pretty awesome, just like what you're about to say. It's just like this. That's what I like.
It's like you put your body on like a VR helmet. That's kind of what you did. It's kind of what you did. So, all right, guys. I don't think we're gonna get that Adam guy back. So, we've been running.
Sorry, I totally forgot to update you on that. He had to go. He'll catch us on the next one. But yeah, he needs to turn in.
Okay. The dude's a saint. I want to get him on just like as a special guest sometime because he probably doesn't care because it's not going to benefit him. But I love the dude. He's fun as hell, and he's just a cool guy. He's just a cool guy. He knows a lot of good stuff, and he actually offered to help me with doing the Arabic for certain, like if I'm working with Azazel or any of that stuff. He offered. Yeah, he's good on that stuff because he knows that. He knows the lingo, so to speak. He's a good guy.
Awesome.
So that's cool.
All right, gentlemen and lady. What do you guys say? We've been on for 3 hours and 15 minutes. Not a record, but certainly we're reaching into. We definitely flew past dick and ball time and went whole ball into non-duality tonight. So
yeah, we did.
It's one of those things. It's bound to happen in it one time.
Let's also admire my wife's work there. I just realized she's been working this whole time diligently. You guys got to watch. How badass is that? Somebody's gonna buy that. Somebody's gonna fucking buy that thing.
Yeah, that's it. I love just seeing any kind of creativity. The energy is so raw, and it's just I'm just completely hooked on creation at the moment.
Fuck yeah.
What kind of toothpaste is that, honey? Is it gonna be really minty or?
You custom sourced the red part of the Crest toothpaste, didn't you? For that. Nothing but top quality. Yeah, That's why I love artists and makers so much. Just fucking creativity.
Yeah,
The aspect of creation.
it's a
It's
great.
like-
So I saw somebody asking before how they get in touch with me. Now I don't generally I hate to be this guy because I'm not. But when you start doing what I do, a million people want your attention, and it's my time and energy. I don't give it up freely most of the time. It's by choice, and it's not a criticism of anybody if I choose not to give it to you. It's literally just like, this is not where I'm at right now. So I don't generally have just discussions with people who are interested. Unless, unfortunately, I got to do it this way, I've got to make it a professional thing. So if you want a professional consultation, where you get involved and we talk, we have that. That's something you can find on my website, www.mindtheshadows.com. You can also go onto Discord, put your questions there. Sometimes I'm loving the question and I'll answer it. Sometimes I just don't have the time or the interest. Don't take it personally, please. I have several thousand subs. I got a lot of people asking me questions.
Busy
Please
motherfucker.
understand. So I'm not trying to be elitist or anything like that. I'm really not. I'm really fucking not. If I could, I would be everywhere. But, well, I shouldn't say that because some people just bother me, honestly. I'm a little bit introverted. I doesn't show, but I am. Like, I do this, like, this is like,
Me too.
right? I do this like, I don't know, man. I could just fucking sit here and play video. Fuck it, I'm going to do it. And then I get here, I'm like, I love it. Because I'm the type, I go to a bar or a club, and I go sit in the corner and watch everybody dance, and I just lurk, and I just look like a spooky motherfucker. And then somebody comes up and starts, what's that, honey?
If you think about it, you really are everywhere.
I am. I'm
Yeah.
everywhere. That's non-duality, baby.
It's not
I'm
like
there
me.
right now. You're putting paint on me right now. Ooh, that feels good.
I'm busting moves on the dance floor, me.
I can't dance, dude. When I dance, I do kung fu and shit instead. Or you ever watch Jackie Gleason back on the Honeymooners? I dance like him. I'm really fucking corny.
I've got to. That's not bad. Get the rest of the music, that'll work.
It's not real sexy though. Like when I try to do like the sexy shit, don't work. It don't fucking work. You know what I do? I lurk. I just stand there like, and like
You
that
dance
works.
a lot better than I do.
The only chicks I got were the ones that like being scared. That's the ones I got. Like, you know, that was it. That's how I got her. She didn't like normal people. Ooh, you're scary.
Good. It's good. You put your talents to good use then.
I guess so. It's all I had, dude. You got to work with what you got, man.
That's just like filtering out for your crowd right there. Just like, oh, I couldn't help but notice that you're totally socially inept, and I'm so drawn to that. Yes, would you like to come back to my lair where I have many skulls and leather?
It's quite literally how it happened.
watch-
That's pretty. Was that or was that not our first date, honey? I think that kind of was. You didn't see what he did. You weren't looking. He did the Dracula thing with the cape. It was good. Well, you know why Dracula does that? Because his breath is so funky, so he like keeps it behind the thing. Hi. You don't want you to smell that fucking blood breath.
Dracula ain't eating garlic. His breath can't be that bad.
Oh man. Yeah, but for real, guys, like, so I do have to guard my energy and time, but I'm not saying I won't respond. Go into Discord. If I don't, there's certain things I don't know. Like if you're about clip off, I'm like beginner and me. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not there. I don't talk about clip off. I don't do the Sephora. I don't know any of that stuff. I know it, but I don't really. I'm not going to teach it to you. I'm more about chakra. I'm more about that kind of pattern. That resonates more with me. Chakra, celestial stuff with planets. That's kind of the stuff I deal with. So if you like that, that's where I'm at, and I'll help you. But if not, you got people like Eddie Romanov. You got other cool people. Elric knows a lot of stuff. Fucking there's a lot of people. David knows a lot of stuff. Fuck, I'm so bad with names, guys. You know what it is? I see you guys like on Discord, and I don't see names. I just see like patterns of shapes of what your name is, and I don't even think about who you are
the
anymore.
Pictures.
Yeah,
The
like
pictures.
what the right? I like, and some people like and some people I pay attention. Shadow Doc knows quite a bit about shadow people now too. There's a lot of people in there that they've got little tidbits of good knowledge. Eddie's good with, from what I understand, I've never been on one of his little lectures and sermons, but he seems to know a lot about the clip-offs, so I would go and definitely question him. Patchwork, if he's still here, Patchwork is a great person to talk to about the Necronomicon. Let's see, who else do I got? Necro Nikki, she's got a wide range of stuff that she does. And she's actually pretty cool. Nina knows a lot about stuff, but I don't know. She doesn't really talk much there, but she's there. So we got a lot of good people that know a lot of different things about magic and about spirituality. Actually, there's not, even though there's a few beginners in the Discord, I'm going to say everybody's got a piece of the river, man. Everybody knows something in there. And like, I may be like, oh, it's DH Thorne, but you know what? I need you guys too. I need you guys. I need you guys there because I learn stuff from you guys too. I lurk more than I get involved. I read a lot of what you guys talk about. Not everything, but I do scroll through it like quite often. And
You heard him. He needs us to learn how to make the perfect Jankum and banana sandwich.
here goes that shit tube. So I think you guys will be happy there. So go to the Discord channel. It's growing by the day. What do we got? Like 150 in there. David Morgan points out, you read it? Yeah, David Morgan's one of the people. David Morgan's real good on the non-dualism stuff. He's like a man after my own heart. He knows his stuff. Shaman. Oh, Shaman with the generosity. My gosh, man.
Shaman with a hell of a super chat says, "Hey, brothers and sisters out there, it's gonna be a great morning."
It's always a great morning, baby. Somewhere. Don't be too don't be a Pollyanna though. Fuck that shit.
And I also want to like fucking everybody who's in chat right now sound off because I want to say thank you to all you motherfuckers for being here, especially at the end. But also big thank you to you guys who are on here. And Ace, I know obviously you have a lot of social media and everything where people can find you. I want to send them your way. Like, do you guys like shout out? Where could people find you? What are you doing? Like, you've been like fucking, you were on early and you're tail gunners too. So like, where could people find you? And we'll also make sure to have that in the comments.
Well, you can find me on Instagram, Ace the Goblin _ Dark Sorcery, and you can find me on Facebook too. That's the only other one I have. And
on Discord, you're Witch Goblin, right?
Yeah, Witch Goblin 999. Yeah,
okay.
I almost forgot.
Use that shit, man. Be on there, like fucking. Every time you put up a song, put it either in the shameless plugs, the music, or the, like. There's 3 places you can put your music, dude. Put it in one of them every time. Like, don't hesitate.
Definitely, will do, bro.
So all right, so we got him, Jasonius. If you want to see his stuff, he posts a lot of stuff on my Facebook group, the Become the Maelstrom group. Like, and I only check it like once a day, and I have to like, yep, okay, good. I'm gonna give you, you know what I need to do, bro? I'm gonna have to give you like verified use. So just try to like do only like 2 or 3 a day. That's all I ask, because I don't want it to be like 10 posts.
I've looked back in the post and on the thread, and I'm like, shit, have I posted all that today?
Well, you know what you could do if you've got like a bunch of pictures that you want to put up. Like, save them up until you can put them into 1 or 2 posts and drop them all like that. I don't want to throttle you though. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to be like, don't put it up. I just don't want it to be, because like you're one of the most active people on there. So I want to make sure, you know, it doesn't drown. That's all I'm saying.
I'm because I'm still quite new. I'm discovering a lot, and I want to share, you know. And
oh no, I'm not criticizing. You definitely should, dude. You definitely should.
And it's like, you know, I've even got my own YouTube channel as well, where I've done a few investigations and I have a bit of a chat. You know, I'm obviously not as knowledgeable as some people, but what I say is what I see. You know, so it's my perception. You might pick up something, or you might not. But it's one of those things. And like I said, I'm really busy at the moment, doing lots of rituals and just really getting busy. So that is why I've been posting quite a lot, really, because. It's like, since I did a ritual, I don't know how you feel about this, but I did a ritual to get my magical name, and I did it through through scrying with a pen, and I did it through the spirit of fire, so gazing at the flame, and I got my spiritual name, my magical name, and ever since I've got that and I've used it in ritual, I feel like my magic has just jumped up another level.
It really does. It can really have that effect. It really can. Absolutely.
It's like, you know, if I'm working with spirit, it might take a couple of weeks for something to manifest. But now they're manifesting in days. And, you know, I'm like, is that because I've just done this? Or is that a placebo effect to make me think that I've gone up that level? Or is it, am I actually jumped up that level?
I mean, it is. You know, I find that like we move laterally more than up. Like we move laterally. We learn new things, and then we feel like we're getting better, but we're really just unclogging the drain. That's you know. All right, so I'm looking. So next time you put a post up in the group and you want it to be shared, just put as part of the message like, hey, you know, make sure you give me like the the thing to make it automatic. So,
Right.
you know,
Okay.
it'll be fun.
Hey, what's the group called?
It's Become the Maelstrom on you know what? I'll find the hold on.
Facebook.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
So,
I think I got it. Here we go. It might even be in my link tree that's in the. I forget if I put it in there. It might be.
I was muted. I love you, Camilla. I fucking hate your skills sometimes. I'm jealous of your skills. I need to move laterally into that.
Is that an eye? Oh, you're doing a big round eye. What's that for? The big mirror you're doing?
No, this is for this guy right here.
Oh, what you gonna put? You're gonna put 3 or 1 on that one?
This one's gonna get 1 Legion eye,
Okay, cool.
but he's gonna get
You
a
know-
big.
do you know what would be really cool, Camilla, is if you start doing some of the spirit sigils like Belial and have a Skyrim mirror in the middle, or Lucifer, or things like that. That's something I think would really sell as well, along with your Legion mirrors.
That is one of my plans, is to eventually do something like that.
Yeah, we're thinking about printing
I
out the sigils and sticking them on the eye stuff.
a Lucifer one, but with the nail polish, it didn't really turn out that great. It's
Yeah.
very
It
it's
just
too
spread.
thick.
Yeah.
You know.
So we're
But,
probably gonna print that out, like, cause we could probably use the one that I had and just cut it out and glue it.
We're gonna have got a good one and make sure it's blacklight reactive too.
Yeah. I think you guys like the blacklight stuff, right? It
Yeah,
doesn't distract you too much. It doesn't do that to me, but
yeah, keep up the good work, Camilla. You know, you're doing something. You know, it's like I say, I just like seeing different people create different things, because all these tools are just going to help us anyway to pick up these individual skills that we all need or we want, which will help us to do, you know, better rituals and get better gnosis, I suppose.
We need people of all skill sets when we form our great commune.
fuck yeah, man. Retreat or foundation, we'll call it those
Right.
things.
Hell
right,
yeah.
right. The compound.
The branch Thornidians,
Cult known as the Temple of the Fleshborn.
the flesh thorns. Dude, we need to get like we need to call it like, oh man, we're gonna have some fun with this. We'll I've always wanted to have like my own big gothic castle on a hill somewhere. Well, the next best thing would be to have my own fucking cult compound retreat where like you wake up in the morning and like, you know, you can go to the flesh priest chamber and do hot yoga with your pants off. And
Oh, please, that's in the JD Temple.
Oh man, I'm not touching that with a 45-foot pole and him pushing. Yeah, so and then then there's going to be the fucking heavy artillery compound, part of the compound with AK-47s and AR-15s and freaking all the good stuff, man. It's going to be great. So yeah, we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun.
I'll be I'll do the hair salon.
And you know what? Man of my word, I'm going off of what the little tab shows of participants. So fucking thank you, especially Camilla, Jasonius, and Ace the Goblin for being here and being on the
You're
stream.
welcome.
Yeah, fucking big ass thanks, and for
Much
everybody that
appreciation to you guys as well for having us on.
we
Oh, it's
fucking
nothing,
love
man.
having you.
You guys help make the show. I'm entertaining, but this is the part I like. I like talking to cool people. This is fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And to everybody in chat, forgive me if I don't say your name. I'm going off of what the participants tab is showing right now. Arachnos, Blade and Cloak, David Morgan, Hellspine, General 7, Kid Mama, Lucas Vose, Necro Nikki, and of course, Nina the Mystic. Fucking love you all. And
Nina was my
you.
first mod, and she's been there through. I've even had conversations with her when I was down. Good woman, good girl, awesome person. Thank you, Nina. You deserve extra special credit from time to time. Thank you, Nina. So,
Yeah.
so guys, if you want to support my work, you want to make it easier for me to do these shows, I've been taking hits. I'm not gonna lie. After this kerfluffle with the kafoof and the fucking election and me coming out with occasional political posts, I've seen my numbers drop like a stone for book sales and certain other things. I also haven't been. Let me be honest with you guys. My head wasn't in the game the last couple of weeks, so some of it's my own fucking fault. But a lot of this stuff, it is my career. It is my life. This is all I do. If I have to, I'll get a part-time job again. But any support you guys want to give me, the best thing you can do, don't just sub to my Patreon. That's cool. I actually just put that there for people to do if they want. Subscribe star, same fucking thing. If you want to help me out, the best thing you can do is not even these super chats, although you're kind of giving me a tip for a good show, so I accept it. I like when you guys go to
actually, speaking with Shaman, thank you, DH, for your encouragement for me to finish my doctorate in natural medicine.
Fuck yeah, man. I'm proud of you, brother. I'm proud of you. Please do. That guy's pretty smart, by the way. That guy, I mean, he's like, sometimes I feel like
he's watching us. He must be.
He needs to slow, well, I don't know, man. Maybe we're dumb and we just think we're smart. But I think, I think he's like,
Maybe we're dumb, we just think we're smart.
I think that's pretty much all humanity. His brain runs a little too quick, and sometimes I gotta slow him down and be like, just focus on this one thing a little bit. Just look at the tip of my finger, motherfucker. And that's what we got to do a little bit with him. But he's actually a brilliant guy. Like if I'm like, so what's the square root of the hypotenuse? He'll be like pi times diameter to the guy motherfucker knows shit. Like he's smart as fuck. So Shaman, I'm proud of you. I don't know how many doctorates you're working on, but I know you're a smart guy. So I hope you get where you're going, brother. I really do. Anyway, if you want to support my work, you can support me in all these silly ways. What I like is when you go to my link tree, check out the books that I have. If there's a book you don't have but you're interested in, check it out. I got Become the Maelstrom, which is my first book. It will get a new edition someday soon. I'm going to be working on that probably the rest of this winter or early in the summer maybe. I might do a hardcover soon. It's been 2 years. It's almost time to do a second edition, which will have some additions. You go there and you will get links to my book, Become the Maelstrom, Shadow Nomicon, which is probably the most original book I've ever done. That is the subject of shadow people. If you want to know about shadow people, if that's why you're here, Shadow Nomicon's the book for you. It's very popular, and yeah, some typos and shit. I edit everything myself, so I apologize. But it's done very well. E.A. Quetting loves it, and it was like how he like endorsed me because of it. And then I have a smaller work. It's like the first of my smaller books. I eventually want to have like a bunch of books that are smaller and just more affordable, just on one subject. And it was the Infernal Vampire Handbook. It's basically about energy vampirism and how it works through blood vampirism and all that stuff. It's a little smaller, but it's chock full of everything I know on the subject. So people generally like it. And then there's a Teespring. You can go there if you want to buy tapestries to use in your ritual like this one. If you're using the Trinity of Self from Become the Maelstrom, having one of these really helps. You can make an altar, just put it on like a table, and you got that. If you want to do that, also you got Elena Lemmy's store, which is Limitless Liberation, which is a separate link after the link tree. She will actually, if you want to, she's the only person I'm allowing to do this. I get a little percentage off of it, and it helps both of us out. You can actually get custom-made altar tops like the one that I have, that's resin with embedded different stones and stuff. She's got reasonable prices, but it's all handmade and it's all really good.
Beautiful work.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and is one of my favorite artisans as well. Some of the creations she comes out with are absolutely stunning. I'm like, oh my word, you've created something I've never seen before, and she keeps doing it.
She needs to keep doing it. And she helped us figure out how to get our stuff. Like watching her, like a lot of people say, like, oh, you ripped off things. No, I get inspired by other good people, and I want to emulate their success, and I want to endorse her success. She's a good girl, good lady. She deserves it. And I don't talk to her enough. And she chats me up, and I'm just like, I don't have the time. She's a fucking good person. So give her your business, please. If you're interested, look it up. Good stuff. I only get something if you buy a Trinity of Self offer, but it doesn't matter. I endorse everything she does. So if you want to help me out, that's the best ways. Look where I have projects, or hire me for a service if you wish. I don't do magic without doing consultation, and I have to agree with your problem. I have to want to help you with it, and I have to believe I can. So I'm not here just to do, I turn many people down, just do consults a lot of times. But if you want to, go to www.mindtheshadows.com. You can have a consult with me, and we can discuss ritual work. I have affordable rituals for just a few bucks, and I have bigger ones if you need rites and big ceremonial stuff done. So let me know. I'm here. And I'm sure some of you guys someday, maybe you'll be offering services too, and you can talk to us about that someday, maybe. So I have a few people to do.
Hell, yeah, I know Eddie Romanov has
Definitely.
reached that level too.
Yeah. It's not, honestly, I believe everybody should do their own fucking magic. But every now and then you need somebody who knows what they're doing that can inspire you by doing it for you. And the way I do these things is when I do a ritual for you, I'm not actually doing the magic for you. When I do a ritual for you, I am creating a video sigil, basically, and I'm charging that thing with all the energy in the ritual. Everything you see, I'm putting in the astral, and it's sitting there as an egregore waiting for you to watch the video. And when you watch that video in the way that I tell you, because I do a custom one for everybody who does it, even if it's just a short little candle spell, when you watch that video, then it gets released. It's still up to you. You've got to take that energy and throw it in the universe based on what you're watching. But I'm setting it up and you're going to knock it down. So it's on you. I'm producing a video for you that's the best of my ability, and there's a lot of energy poured into it. You've got to make use of it. But that's the way I like it. You've got to do the magic. You've got to be the one that understands you're doing it. You're just following my lead, right? Because when I do those videos, I tell you, imagine you're sitting in the ritual room with me. When I look at the camera, I'm looking at you. When I speak to the camera, I'm speaking to you. That's how this is. And when you can fully feel that and then let it go, you do your part, you do the mundane parts you got to do that work with it, you will get results. I've never had a failure yet, except for one person who didn't listen to my advice and demanded I did it anyway. And they got what they wanted. They got a ritual video from me and they didn't get the thing that they asked for. And I warned them it would happen like that. So, done. So, Shaman has 5 doctorates, guys. Shaman has 5 doctorates.
Oh shit.
Yeah. He's not a dumb man. He's not a dumb man. I mean, he like I said, and don't take this the wrong way, man. You said it yourself. You're a little scatterbrained because you got a lot of shit rolling around in there. But he's a genius. The guy is as smart as fuck. So, and he's still learning. I think he said his IQ is in like the 150s or something. I mean, I'm in the low 140, high 130s, depending upon which test you ask. This motherfucker knows shit that I'll never know. So, but whatever it is I got, he likes what I got. So, thank you, brother.
There you go.
Thank you for your support, and I love you so much, man. Thank you. All right, guys. So let's get a final word, and then we'll call it good night. So I'm going to say good night now. Everybody else say your good nights, and I'm going to count to 3 and hit the stream.
Good night, everybody. And all those in the live chat, my beautiful soul family, to EH, Flesh Priest, and Camilla. Love you all, guys. Keep it real, keep magical.
And
Yeah.
fucking I'm ruining this. Mind the shadows. Tell your friends, warn your enemies.
Love that line. I'm glad I came up with it. Tell your friends and warn your motherfucking enemies. DH Thorne is here with the Mind the Shadows crew. Flesh Priest, Camilla, Ace the Goblin. Go ahead, Camilla. Say goodnight.
And Jasonius.
And Jasonius.
Good night, everyone. And great dreams.
Unpleasant dreams, as Elvira said. Mind the shadows, motherfuckers. Goodbye.
Peace.
All right, guys.